Welcome to the PigPen Podcast. I am your host, Damien,
And I'm your other host, Justin.
and today we will be continuing our story of Metal Gear Solid 4, dude.
Yes, we are. Part 2.
Part 2, dude. Last week we did part 1, and if you didn't watch that, go watch that.
If you didn't watch that, why are you even here?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to know what the hell is going on.
Give us more views on the first one, please.
You're going to be more confused than me and Justin were during Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah, mainly me.
Well, I mean, I'm still confused during that game too, so...
Oh, honestly, it's just a residual confusion.
It's just a confusion.
It lasts forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, Justin, what are we doing today, man? What are we doing?
Well, like you said, we're continuing on our show, The Exposition Seat. And if you don't know, for some reason, you don't know this, but the Exposition Seat is where one of us is in the seat explaining a piece of media to the other one that they have never consumed. That is me. I don't know anything.
This is true.
Except for everything that you've told me, which is a lot. So I know a lot, actually.
Do you remember all of it?
I remember every single thing that you've said.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
The only thing I believe is that you remember Kyle Schneider, dude.
I do.
Kyle Schneider.
I'm really happy that you remember that. I remember that because I will never forget Kyle Schneider.
Kyle Schneider is literally he's 20,000 years from now when we're still doing the PigPen podcast, he'll still be the main bit of the show.
Oh, he will be. Because obviously we'll live that long.
Yeah. No.
Technology. I mean, we'll have some type of cryo chamber.
Nanomachines.
Nanomachines,
son.
Metal Gear is real.
Yes.
It's based in the real world.
All right. Well, before we get into it, Justin, I'm gonna need to know, just for my own future references and records, where can I listen to the PigPen podcast at in my own spare free time?
Dude, if you were just like wondering what to do with your life, what to watch, where to watch it, and you hopped on YouTube, we'd be there.
We'd be on YouTube?
We'd be on YouTube.
Oh my god, dude.
And better yet, if you were like, hold on.
Don't do it to me.
I kind of want to listen. Maybe throw a headphone in. We're on Spotify.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Wowzy wowzer.
We're on both. I mean,
on both.
We do that.
What do we look up to see that?
PigPen Podcast, no spaces.
PigPen Podcast, no spaces?
PigPen Podcast, no spaces.
Gas. Absolute gas.
Yeah. That's where we're at.
You know, if I throw out a subscribe or, a 5-star rating on Spotify, and I'm thinking to myself, man, these guys are really awesome and super cool and rad and everything.
You would think that.
I don't know when's the next episode gonna be, dude. I need to satiate my own urges.
Dude, it's every Friday.
Every Friday?
Yeah.
So does that mean when I tune in next Friday, I'm gonna get to hear Metal Gear Solid the next episode?
You would think, except...
Oh shit, we're doing something a little spicy and different, aren't we?
Yeah, so when we started the show, we planned on doing video games and books. You know a lot about video games. I know a lot about books. And we don't know a lot about the other one, right?
Correct.
So I'm going to be doing a book exposition seat next Friday. And what we're going to start doing now is alternating. So we were originally going to finish out the Metal Gear franchise, and I would do an entire book series, and then we would alternate like that. But now what we're going to do is next week, I'm going to be doing the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. And after that, Damien's going to continue with Metal Gear, and then so on and so forth. Yeah, so I'll do the second book in that series. Next Friday, he'll do the next Metal Gear, which at this point in the franchise, there's not going to be a lot of Metal Gear left because you would think that we're a Metal Gear channel at this point, but we aren't, guys.
We've gotten through a lot of it. And we just kind of talked about it a little bit, and for someone who is really into books and not into games, waiting however many years for me to get done with Metal Gear is probably annoying. So we understand that there's some people that are going to want to listen to some episodes more than the others. So we're just going to go back and forth and give us a good variety of both. And if that means you got to wait an extra week to hear me talk about Peace Walker, I am sorry, bruh. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're speaking to all our viewers. How many do we have now? Like 7,000 million?
I think we're at 700 million thousand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that adds up.
They all have sent me money too. So if you haven't, you're in the minority. You should probably join the rest of us.
The way we just talked about where you can find us, we sounded like we were doing an ad. And I think that it was really good practice for when we do have ads.
Well, it was an ad because I'm sponsoring my own show.
True. We were the ads.
Yeah, I paid myself. I said, hey, if you talk about the PigPen podcast in this episode, I'll give you like $10.
I pay you and you pay me to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're making money and giving each other money. It's a really good way
Well,
to
I'm
keep a
making money
friendship.
and losing money, and I'm making exactly the same amount of money that I'm losing, so it's
Yeah,
pretty lucrative.
exactly. And also, also before we do what do we usually do? The recap.
The
Before the recap,
recap.
guys, we're not sick anymore.
Oh,
We
dude.
actually feel so fresh. We feel so energized. We feel like we could run a marathon.
That's not true. I'm still, you know, I'm out of the trenches of illness, but I'm still in the dirt hole.
I love how I spoke and you immediately were like, "That's not true."
Okay, so like I'm not like sick, but I definitely still got
Yeah.
some congestion. There's definitely some stuff in there, dude. I almost died.
Yeah, no, I know. And that's why I'm saying like when you almost die, you might as well run a marathon. Even
That's
if you
what I'm
don't feel like it,
No,
you
I
might as well.
I'm full hard stop disagreeing with you.
So you're not going to go with me tomorrow? I'm going to be running by myself through the streets of New
Yeah,
York.
yeah.
That's sad.
I'll go to Quebec and run through the streets, and we can like do like a
Dude, Quebec?
yeah,
That's way too close. We need to go to New York.
Quebec. But I'm saying like we could be far away from each other. That way I don't have to look at your
Simultaneously
stupid
run
ass.
in different territories,
Yes,
in different
and then
countries,
we don't have to deal with each other because we're
because New York is a territory.
900,000 miles apart.
Good. I think it's more like 800, but it's all right.
Well, you know everything, so
Thanks.
yeah.
I'm glad you finally stated that.
Well, I've always thought that. I just sometimes say things that I don't mean.
Well, you said it on video now, so it's forever solidified.
Did you see what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Your little feel about not saying things you mean from the last episode.
We'll cut this part, and we'll only keep the first part where you say I know everything.
Okay,
Good.
that's not happening.
Oh,
Yes. All right, but for everyone, let's get into the recap,
yeah.
dude.
Quick
Let's get.
recap. What happened?
Well, in part one, we got some bad news. Liquid's pretty much got the entire world under his control, along with Ocelot's body.
Yeah,
Snake is old Snake. It's been quite
Werner
a
syndrome, but
Werner
not.
syndrome. It's been a battle between the two of them for 3 acts, and it was rough. There was a couple rough patches, and our climactic ending, dude, was Big Mama. She died.
Yeah, Eva, rest in peace.
Yeah, classic character death.
Yep.
We learned that Johnny Sasaki slash Shitstain slash Akiba was
Yeah.
he's pretty hot.
Yeah. Kind of.
I mean, I don't think he's hot, but it's like he's
He
hot.
he's hot, except the fact that you call him shit stain, I can't look at him like any other
I
way
mean, he
other
literally does
than
have poop stains in his pants at points in the game.
yeah. So I mean that kind of just ruins it.
Yeah.
That ruins the image.
Does it make him unattractive to you?
Yeah. Did you ruin his image on purpose?
No.
Okay.
No, the game does it for you.
Oh, so the game wants us to not
Think
think
he's
of.
hot.
Okay, cool.
So it would be weird if another character does. Anyways,
I see.
so he's not being affected by nanos either.
Right. That's
That was
been a
the
thing.
running thing.
Yep.
But yeah, the body of Big Boss. Yeah, I should say this. The body of Big Boss was in the explosion and completely burned to a crisp. It's gone.
Mm.
If Big Boss ever had a chance to come back to life, it's gone because his body is gone. It's been destroyed right in front of our very own eyes.
Yes, his body was, but
What are you what are you saying? What are you saying over there?
oh, he's got a few more bodies,
You think he's got more bodies, dude?
dude. Snake. I mean, he's another version of Big Boss.
That's true, but the Big Boss Prime,
Yeah,
he's gone.
that's true.
Never to return. You got your triumphant moment where he came back to lay in a bag and still be dead technically, but he's
Yeah.
gone now, so
Yep.
unfortunate.
And Liquid has taken over the SOPs and turned them into GOPs.
Yeah, the guns of the Patriots.
The Gops.
The Gops, dude, the Gops.
Gops.
But with all that being said, if you remember, there's a mission briefing after every act.
Yeah.
We didn't do the mission briefing from Act 3 because, it's climactic ending. It's a good place to leave off. So we're going to do that mission briefing right before we hop into Act 4. You ready for this, dude?
Let's do it.
Well, in this mission briefing, we see that Snake and Otacon are aboard the Nomad. It looks like when Drebin said, let's get him back to his friends, he meant Otacon and the Nomad.
Okay. So I originally thought he was being suspicious.
He was not. He was being a good dude. He's being a good dude.
Okay.
Snake and Otacon, they are watching the final video that the Mark II recorded. Do you remember what the Mark II is?
Yeah. So that's the R2D2.
R2D2 bot that Otacon has been controlling.
Yeah. He kind of clutched up at the end.
He really did. But the final video that the Mark II recorded before something happened to it.
Mm,
We see that Liquid, Vamp, and Naomi are all talking on board the boat that they were driving or boating away in that the Mark II hopped on after it camouflaged. Do you remember?
yep.
Okay, so we see these three talking. Liquid says that he controls almost the entire system, but all of the world's nukes are still controlled exclusively by JD. So his plan, if you remember, was to destroy JD, right?
Yeah.
It was one of the AI systems.
Yes.
JD is in space, and the only way he's going to be able to destroy it is with a nuke.
Because JD is the one that controls the other four.
Yes. But JD controls all the nukes. So how is he going to
Mm,
use a nuke to control or to destroy JD if JD controls all the nukes?
yeah.
Well, Liquid says JD controls all the nukes except one, and that's where Rex comes in.
Whoa. Rex?
Rex, dude, that's what he says. He says that's where Rex comes in.
Metal Gear Rex?
Then Naomi notices the Mark II. Vamp picks it up and destroys the man. R.I.P. Mark II.
Whoa. Hold on. You're telling me that just happens?
Yeah, this is the final video that the Mark II recorded. Snake and Otacon are watching this video on board the Nomad
We just witnessed the death
of the Mark II.
of the Mark II.
Yeah, it's the final video because Vamp destroyed the man.
It, that's so tragic.
It's sad, dude. It's sad. I cried.
Man. Okay. All right.
But
I'm not gonna cry.
now that the video is over, we're back on board the Nomad and we see Otacon putting the finishing touches on the Mark III, dude. The Mark III.
Aw.
So we got a new Mark. We got a new Mark.
It's not
Mark
the
III.
same.
He's literally exactly the same. He's just got a different color palette.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it is the same.
It doesn't feel the same.
Okay. I'm glad that the Mark II will keep the fact that you remember him in his mind in the afterlife.
Yeah. I'm gonna create an unusual attachment to a character that was barely in the game.
Oh, he's been in the game the whole time, dude.
Barely in the game in my
He's
remembrance.
barely been in the podcast,
Yeah, exactly.
but he's been in the game the
I'm
whole
gonna
time.
pretend like I care a lot. I'm gonna keep this going.
Oh, so
It's not gonna stop.
like Kyle Schneider?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're doing another Kyle Schneider bit?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sick.
I'm
Awesome.
preparing you.
Otacon starts watching the footage again. And he's kind of like running it back and doing like that video scrub thing that you see in movies where like you go back and you're trying to like figure out certain elements of the video.
Yeah.
And we get a call from Campbell, and Campbell just kind of discusses everything that they like kind of were thinking and everything that just happened in Act 3. However, at this moment, they realized that when Liquid said Rex, he meant the OG Rex, bro.
Dude, that's what I thought.
He meant Metal Gear Rex. And Campbell confirms that Rex was around before the implementation of the SOP system. So the nuke that's on Rex's railgun would still be able to be fired without JD's approval.
Wasn't Metal Gear Rex literally like the first?
No, so Metal Gear TX55 and then
Mm,
what was the other one called? Metal Gear D, I think it was called.
okay.
Those were technically the first two.
So this is the first
Well,
of the Metal Gear, like,
also, if we're thinking like actually within the world, there's Sahelanthropus and Metal Gear Peace Walker. So, um,
okay, okay. But this is the first
and the
of the
Shagohod technically. So no,
yeah. But is this the first of the Solid Snake series?
yes, this is the first Metal. No, because Snake was in Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, so it would have the Metal Gear TX55 would have been Snake's first Metal Gear.
I mean, like, of like Metal Gear Solid 1. Like, that's this one, right?
Yes, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this is the Metal Gear from Metal MGS1.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. That's
So
what I
I,
thought.
I did I confuse you?
No, but I understand that obviously being the way that these games are laid out, there's a lot of jumping around.
Yeah. Okay. You're right though.
I got
This is MGS1 Metal Gear Rex
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
that they're
that's what I
talking
was
about.
thinking. Okay.
Okay. Well, basically, like you said, Rex was around before the SOP system, so they can use Rex's nuke without SOP's approval.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. They need to go back to where it all began. They need to go back to
Classic.
Shadow Moses Island.
Classic.
Snake breaks down into a coughing fit, and we've seen him getting worse and worse throughout the game. Like, do you remember his little like nano attacks?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen him like get worse and worse throughout the game, but it's getting like bad at this point. Like he's like falling over on his knees. He's coughing so bad and like his vision's going and stuff.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Snake injects himself with the syringe that Naomi give him, and it starts to calm down. So Otacon looks at Snake and he begs him not to go. He's like, Snake, your time is over, dude. I need you to stay here with me. Like, don't. You're gonna kill yourself if you keep doing this.
Yeah. Who else would go though? You know?
Well, Snake responds. He's like, I don't have much longer to live, anyways. So, like, why? Like, I can't take a break now. I don't have that much longer. And Otacon keeps pleading with him. He's like, Snake, please. Snake just goes, I'm not dead yet. And then Otacon breaks down
What a
and
savage.
how bleak the situation is.
Yeah.
He's not like crying or anything, but he's just like sitting there, just like staring at the ground. And he's just like talking
Mm.
about how this is like awful. Their lives suck.
Yeah, dude. Because genuinely, who else can go? It's just them.
Yeah. Well, Snake, he has a classic moment of giving some Otacon love.
Good.
And
He needs it.
Snake walks over and he says, well, it doesn't, not exact quote, but he tells him that it's not about winning or losing. He's like, we started this, we need to finish it. And then he looks over at the medical bed that is on the Nomad,
Mm-hmm.
and he sees that Raiden is laying there. Raiden is doing much better than he was at the end of Act 2, but he's still not like fully up and ready to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Raiden, he tries to get up though, and he says that he is going to help whether Snake likes it or not. Otacon, Sunny, and Snake are all protesting. They're all like, no, you sit your ass down. You're not ready to leave. Raiden isn't having it, and he starts getting up anyways. But Snake looks at him. He grabs him by the shoulder, and he says, I'm a shadow, one no light will ever shine on. And as long as you follow me, you'll never see the day.
Wow. Wow. So basically just tells him like, sit your ass down. I'm not letting you even help me.
Yeah, basically, Snake is like, yo, sorry, dude.
It's interesting because Snake is actually feeling just as down and sick, and yet he's gonna push forward, but he's not letting Raiden take that jump himself.
Yeah, I think Snake is looking at it more like this is the end of my line no matter what. Like, you still got a life to
Yeah,
live.
and he wants Raiden to not make the same choices he made.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, after Snake basically tells Raiden to sit down, Raiden, he does not want to hear it from Snake.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. He's like, Snake, I don't have a future. I don't have a family. I don't have anything to go for me. And I just I need this is my life. This is what I need to do. I don't know how to do anything else.
Raiden basically is too far gone.
Yeah, Raiden, he's his
He's already
character
yeah,
his character right now is like it's essentially what Snake's character was in MGS1.
exactly what I was thinking. Yep.
Yes, and it's like this is the moment where Raiden is either going to have to like choose to follow Snake's path or turn around and
This is
start his own destiny.
this is the character this is the character point right here.
It really
Where
is.
the arc chooses the direction here.
Hmm.
I hope the best for him. I already know what choice he's gonna make. Let's be honest.
What choice do you think he's going to make?
Oh, he's going down the route. He's going down the route of Snake. I just feel like he made a great point. You know,
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't blame you. That's what I thought when I played the game too.
because look at the world. You know, the world's it's such a I don't even know what the word is. Like it's so far from what it used to be. I don't even know how you go back to a normal life with
Yeah,
Raiden's past and
especially
how
with
he's lived.
the way his life is played out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dude, I see what I mean when I was talking about how Kojima you can feel resentment in this game.
Mm,
With all of his main characters, their lives are awful.
yeah.
Like, do you see what I mean by the resentment?
Every character.
Like, none of the characters are happy in this game at all. There's literally no happiness.
Lil Gray. He's our only shred of
Lil
happiness.
Grey is the only shred of happiness
Yeah.
because he's jumping around smoking cigarettes.
I just imagine if you took Lil Gray's cigs away from him, though, he'd turn into an absolute fiend of a monster. Lil Gray would become the villain if you took my man's cigarettes
I
away.
think if you take his cigarettes away, he's fine. But if you take away his soda,
Oh,
he's he's
you
he's
think that's
evil.
his big button right
There's
there?
literally a moment in the game where like he's like asking for a soda, and I think Naomi doesn't hand it to him, and he like slaps her.
That's actually funny that they made the soda more addicting than the cigarettes.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Okay, cool. All right, man. What's he gonna do?
Well, after Raiden and Snake have this like little back and forth, remember I always said Raiden's on a medical bed and he's
Yeah,
not fully recovered.
yeah.
Raiden, he's kind of like trying to get up, and this entire conversation, and he keeps pushing himself further to the point where he passes out.
Mm,
So Snake turns his back on Raiden and like just kind of stares at the ground, gives us a classic Snake. Ugh.
yeah.
And then on the TV screen, we get a call. It's from Mei Ling, dude.
Mei Ling.
Do you remember Mei Ling?
Um, was she somebody who you could call to like with like medical stuff, or am I thinking of
No,
somebody
that's
else?
paramedic.
Paramedic? Dude, I have no idea who Mei
Mei
Ling
Ling
is.
was in MGS1. She was your data analyst. She saved your game for you.
Okay, I figured she was one of those people.
I barely mentioned her in our video, so it's okay that you forgot.
Okay, okay.
She's your classic side character. She really exists for side character stuff. Like
Yeah.
she's not super important. But Mei Ling calls Otacon, and it turns out that since Shadow Moses, Mei Ling has become a captain in the Navy. Um, and she basically, since she's in the Navy, she's like patrolling the Alaskan waters. She knows more about Shadow Moses than like our protagonist do. So she's giving us the rundown on what happened to Shadow Moses since then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She says that Shadow Moses hasn't been touched since the incident 9 years ago. There has not been a single thing that's happened on the island.
Wow. So
Yeah.
it's like a little time capsule.
Yeah, essentially. Otacon asks how that's even possible because it was such a big scale situation. And she tells him that since everyone involved with the mission either died or vanished, it was essentially forgotten.
Wow.
Because you remember, Solidus was the president at the time, and Solidus got demoted.
Yeah.
All of Snake, he vanished. Mei Ling, Naomi, they vanished. Colonel Campbell, he left the army. Otacon vanished. All of the Foxhound members were dead. So literally everyone who's involved in the mission either died or vanished. So
Yeah.
literally it was, like you said, time capsule, forgotten in time.
And now that we know who the Patriots are, it also makes sense why nothing was really touched.
Yeah. So Shadow Moses is it's in the exact condition we left it in MGS1.
Wow, very cool.
Minus, the decrepitation. Decrepitation, is that a word?
Dilapidation?
Dilapidation that has occurred in
Decreping dilapidation?
creeping crap credits.
Yes.
Yes,
Crodation.
gradation. She does mention that because of global warming, the island is sinking.
Oh.
So there's a time strain. Like
So the oceans are rising.
the oceans are rising,
Hmm.
Shadow Moses is sinking.
This feels like the end of times.
I mean, this game is like it's
What is
bad.
there? Yeah, there's like one world currency, androids are taking over, the oceans are rising, and Snake is on his deathbed. I mean,
It's dude, MGS4 is pretty fucked up scenario to find yourself in.
yeah, it is. Okay.
Mei Ling then she kind of after giving the rundown to Otacon and Snake, she says that she runs a ship called the USS Missouri,
Hmm.
and she will try to make it to Shadow Moses to give backup if she's able to,
Okay.
because obviously Snake and Otacon got to go back to Shadow Moses.
And she's on her way there, but she doesn't know if she'll make it.
Yes,
Got it.
but that's the end of the mission briefing, dude. And we're gonna start Act 4, brother.
Let's do it.
Twin Sons.
Twin Sun.
Twin Sons.
Spelled with it. Oh, am I correct?
No, you.
It is a U?
Yeah, like the big fake ball in the sky.
Okay. Because I remember I said something and you were
Yeah,
like,
you thought I was talking about SON.
so that's what I was originally thinking.
Yes.
Okay, but it is you.
It is you.
Got
Like
it, got
the
it, got
fake
it.
ball in the sky.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The fake ball in the sky.
Yeah.
Which is actually what is it again?
It's, a projection,
Yep. Okay.
hallucination
Yes. We just had to let the people know.
because of the chemtrails.
Yes. Which is on projecting from the moon, which is actually not the moon, it's the Death Star.
Death Star that Stanley Kubrick made
Yep.
with his own fortune.
Yep. I think it
Yep.
was Stanley Tucci, but
Stanley Tucci.
yeah, yeah.
No, he was the mini me. He was the sidekick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the CEO.
Yeah, the CEO. All right, dude. But are you ready to hop into Act 4? You ready to get into this shit?
I don't think I have ever been more ready to hop into anything in my life.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it.
Dude, we better.
All right. Well, we see that Snake wakes up from having a dream about MGS1. Like in his we see his dream. It's like the MGS1 PS1 graphics. It shows Snake running through the island.
Mm.
So
It
it's
shows
pretty
the
pretty
actual
good.
same graphics.
Yes.
Very cool.
But Snake wakes up from this dream in the helicopter as him and Otacon arrive at Shadow Moses.
Okay.
It is actually so amazing to see Shadow Moses in PS3 graphics. The island is beautiful in a depressing way
Mm-hmm.
because it is the blizzards are way worse than they were back then
Mm.
because of, climate change. Um, so the blizzard is completely taken over the island. All of the buildings are like decrepit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, natural forests and stuff are starting to take over as the island is taken back by Mother Nature.
Yeah. So honestly, it's beautiful because of how much the world around it has
Well,
altered it.
it's depressingly beautiful.
Yeah, because it's like when you show up somewhere that is abandoned and you see the lack of human involvement, but the fact that there is a lack of human involvement makes it more beautiful.
Yes,
Even though
absolutely.
it looks like it's run down, it's just the world living on
Yeah,
with nobody touching it.
you said that beautifully.
Yeah. Thank you.
You actually made my heart flutter.
Did I?
Yeah,
You know what? Was that the first time?
no.
That's what I was gonna because the other time, remember that?
Yeah,
All right,
dude.
yeah,
Remember that other one time?
I made it
That
all
time?
flutter, didn't I?
Yeah, it flew.
Yeah.
All right. Snake makes his way inside.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of this act. There's a lot of reminiscing between him and Otacon where they talk about remembering the fateful day where the two of them met because they
Mm-hmm.
met on Shadow Moses.
Yeah.
So this is very nostalgic for both of them.
Wait, didn't Otacon make Metal Gear Rex?
Otacon did make Metal Gear
I
X.
just remembered that.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if
So,
that's gonna play a part. Okay, go ahead.
but yeah. So I'm gonna skip through pretty much most of their conversations during this time, but it is really cool to see them reminisce over Shadow Moses.
Yeah, they're kind of just
Um,
shooting the shit about the past.
yeah, this act is a nostalgia bomb straight to the ass. Like it
Yeah.
is just straight nostalgia right to your brain.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful. I love it. I've seen some people criticize this as nostalgia bait, because but
People would, because people
it's
like to do everything.
that's what I'm saying. It's fun. It's literally MGS1 came out in 1998. This game came out in 2008. So
Yeah.
we're 10 years later. It's like an anniversary, dude.
Yeah, you can't criticize nostalgia bait just because of the sheer fact that yeah, nostalgia does exist, but this plays a great point in the plot.
Yeah. And also, I mean, remember Hideo Kojima wanted this to be the last Metal Gear.
Yeah.
So this game has a very finality feel to it.
Might as well
Like,
throw some nostalgia.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's beautiful, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, Snake makes his way through the island, and as he's doing so, we see him throughout his conversations with Otacon. We see him have a couple more like coughing fits, and he is not doing good.
Hmm.
Like he's getting progressively worse and worse. I'll probably mention it a couple more times, but he is getting worse and worse and worse as the game goes on.
And he's still pumping himself full of what Naomi gave
Yeah,
him.
she gave him suppressor nanomachines.
Yeah, so is he kind of does he have a finite amount of that?
Um,
Or is it just something that's not addressed in the game because it doesn't
I
matter?
mean, technically he has a finite amount of it, but like she hands him like a box full of syringes
Yeah.
earlier back in the cutscene from Act 2. She hands him like a box full of syringes, and she tells him not to use them too often because he has only so many of them, but then that never really comes up again.
Okay.
So it's not super big plot relevance, but
Got it.
technically there is a finite amount. Snake ends up as he's continuing through the island. You get to walk through like all the sections from MGS1,
Mm-hmm.
all redone in PS3 graphics,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually he gets to the arena where we fought Sniper Wolf.
Ooh.
And
Otacon?
what do you mean Otacon?
Well, he took that death pretty seriously.
Oh yeah, Otacon. He mentions like over the radio that it's sad. He's gotten over it in the
Good.
years since.
Good
But
man.
do you know who we see in this arena?
I'm gonna guess it's a beauty and a beast.
It's Crying Wolf, dude. It's Crying
Yeah.
Wolf.
Oh, right, because
Sniper
ah,
Wolf, Crying Wolf.
I see what they did
She
there.
her beast form is even like in the shape of like a dog.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. She also uses a rail gun attached to her like top of her
Armor.
yeah, and she uses it like a sniper.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
essentially, you gotta have like another sniper battle in this
Nice.
area. But she has a bunch of frogs with her.
Oh, which
Yeah,
are the little mini.
not many. They're like regular human size.
Yeah, well, but they're robots, right?
No, they're people in like robotic suits.
Oh, yeah, it's liquids.
It's like Liquid's main army.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was thinking of I don't know what I was thinking of, but yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, but he fights Sniper Wolf, or not Sniper Wolf, Crying Wolf, and
Mhm.
I will tell you this is my favorite B&B fight of the game.
Nice.
Um, it's it's not like the most insane, and you can cheese this fight pretty hard if you put on like night vision goggles, but just like the aesthetics of being in the Sniper Wolf arena while you're fighting her. Um, and like the blizzard is so much stronger than it was back then, so it's like you can barely see without the night vision goggles.
Mhm.
It's just really good aesthetically, dude. I love this fight.
Yeah.
Snake does end up besting her though,
Of course. Of course.
and then Crying Beauty emerges. You remember the Beauty and Beast unit? They all have two forms.
The walk of death.
Yeah. Well, Snake, he beats Crying Beauty as well. And he continues on. Like I said, um, there's like Snake pretty much just walks through the entirety of Shadow Moses. It's not a walking sim. Like there are still like dwarf geckos around and you still get into fights, but you do a lot of like going through the facility.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, there's nothing that really happens that's plot relevant other than like Snake and Otacon reminiscing. And that happens again.
And I'm guessing the setting really puts you in a even further depressive mood
It really does
as
because
you see, yeah, you see what, the old game, and at the same time you see how much the world has changed.
it's like it's really weird because it's like you're supposed to be reliving the glory days.
Mm,
But since it's decrepit and Snake is now also decrepit and old,
yeah.
it's like you're trying to relive the glory days, but it's like from a cynis, cynis, cynicist,
A
cynis,
cynical?
a cynical standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cynical standpoint. And it's sad. It is depressing.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel it.
but Snake, he does make his way down to the hangar where he found Metal Gear Rex all those years ago. And Metal Gear Rex is in the same position that it was when Snake destroyed it last time.
Huzzah.
Same exact position. The only
They
difference,
found it.
the only difference,
Mm.
it's missing its railgun,
Oh,
which means Liquid must have gotten the railgun already.
what a bitch. What a
Yeah,
smart, evil man.
yeah, he is a smart, evil man, and he is a bitch as well. But since the railgun's missing, um, Snake and Otacon are like, oh fuck, what do we do?
Yeah.
Because Liquid definitely was already here.
Was it all for nothing?
And then do you want to know who walks out of the corner, dude?
Who?
Vamp, brother. It's
Ah,
it's Vamp,
the sexy
the
vampire.
sexy vampire who's not really a vampire.
Nice.
Yeah, Vamp walks in with Naomi. Um,
That bitch.
Vamp is kind of like just like talking from the top, and he's like, "Snake and Otacon, you're both fucked. So sucks to be you guys. I'm gonna fight you now."
Uh, but like, what is Naomi doing? Because
She's rubbing up on Vamp.
really?
Yeah, she's like got her hand on his chest.
Okay, so here's the thing with Naomi. I've been pretty aggressive towards her,
Hmm.
and maybe that's gonna, kind of be thrown back in my face by the end of this game. But still, like, what is she doing? What is she doing?
Naomi is Naomi.
She's confusing.
I also want to point out in the last episode we did, there is a moment where you're like, "You always say Naomi," and I say Naomi. Is it Naomi?
Mm,
And I said, "Yes, it's Naomi." And you said, "I'll fix myself."
yeah. I didn't fix myself.
Nope. To
Did I
this
do it
day,
again?
I mean, every time, literally, I think you say Naomi once after that conversation in that episode,
That's
and then every time after you say Naomi
yeah. Yeah, it's almost like I said something and then immediately forgot it
and didn't mean it.
and didn't mean it.
Yeah,
I do that, don't I?
yeah, you do.
And that makes me a really great friend.
It makes you an awesome friend. It makes you my best friend.
Exactly. Because if
This is
I
my
was
best
only
friend.
if I was only if I was only your friend, I'd be way nicer.
Yeah,
But I'm your best friend, so I
yeah. You have to be mean to me.
have to be the way you said that. You have to be mean to me. But for real though, like she's got her hands on him, but I feel like that's really, really direct to where I feel like she's doing that on purpose to kind of play a part right now.
That's a good guess.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Pretty soon, actually. So,
Okay, good.
Otacon, from the Mark III, who's obviously with Snake still.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at Snake and he's like, "You need to hold off Vamp. Keep him at bay. I think I can get Rex up and running."
Oh, okay.
So the Mark III hops into Rex's cockpit and
Nice.
starts jar- jarming, fucking getting in there,
Doing some
dude.
hacking shit.
Yeah, he's doing some hacking shit, trying to get Rex back up and
Pressing
running.
buttons.
Yeah,
Let's
pressing some
go.
buttons, turning some dials,
Doing some electricity.
doing some sciences.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Snake, or not Snake,
Vamp.
with Otacon in Rex's cockpit.
Mm.
Naomi kind of like turns around and walks away, and that just leaves Snake and Vamp sitting at this at the feet of this giant. And they they do, dude?
They fight.
Boss battle
Boss battle
ensues,
ensues.
brother.
How many boss battles against Vamp have there been in this game? Just the one with Raiden? I feel like this has been the third or
In this game or in the
this
series?
game.
We haven't fought Vamp at all.
Oh yeah, because you
Because the
watched
one
him
the
fight
one
Raiden.
between Vamp and Raiden was a cutscene.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool.
But the problem with this boss fight is that every time you drain Vamp's health bar, it literally regenerates to full.
Yeah, the problem with killing Vamp is he doesn't die.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is that you have to keep killing him over and over again until you figure out how to beat him.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's yeah. How
Do you-
how do you do it?
if you get close enough to him and you see him, a little prompt will come up on screen that has like a syringe on it.
Oh.
And if you press that syringe,
Oh, right.
Snake will think about it for a second, inject him with the suppressor nanomachines, and Vamp is no longer immortal.
Yeah, the ones he's been using for himself.
Yeah, because they
Sweet.
suppress all the nanomachines in your body and make it so they don't work
Dude,
for a time being.
dude, I just had this thought.
And Vamp has been using nanomachines to basically regenerate every time he
Because
dies.
it's based in the real world.
Yeah, because it's real.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I was thinking it would be cool. Obviously, it probably wouldn't work with the plot structure of the game, but if they were finite, his nano suppressors, and like he had to use either like his last or one of his last ones to use it on Vamp so that he could finally kill Vamp.
That would actually be pretty
And
sick.
then the rest of the game, he's like even more like he has nothing left to give himself.
What would be awesome is if like you had to manually give yourself these syringes, like if it was like a consumable item and you had a finite amount of them,
Exactly. Yeah, it
and the
would
player
affect the
had to choose.
gameplay.
And if you use all of them before the Vamp fight, then you can't beat Vamp.
That'd be crazy. Metal Gear would do that too, because
Yeah,
they're very much
that'd
like,
be pretty cool actually.
mm,
But I think the fact that Kojima wanted this to be the end, he was like, no, we got to end Vamp here. So I
yeah,
think that's probably why you can't.
yeah. But I still like that being the way to kill him.
I like the idea though.
Yeah.
That was a good idea.
Also, Naomi being the one who gave him those is kind of funny.
Yeah, because I
And
mean, Naomi is the one who technically created the nanomachines that Vamp has been using.
yeah, and she decided to walk in to show us that she existed and then left.
Um,
Like, where did she go?
she just turned around and started walking away.
She's, and
They came out of like a hallway.
yeah, like they're just on this Shadow Moses, just, just there. And she's just roaming the halls.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's just taking a trip down memory lane,
Yeah, which, even though she, yeah.
even though she wasn't at
Yeah,
Shadow
she wasn't
Moses.
there. But
Yeah.
anyways.
But after Snake injects Vamp with these suppressor nanomachines, Vamp's no longer immortal. But unfortunately, as Snake does this, 3 geckos show up, dude.
Oh, how unfortunate.
Yeah. But right before they attack Snake, they're all cut in half simultaneously.
Ride it.
As Raiden
He chose
shows
his
up.
path.
Dude, he chose his
his
path.
path.
He shows up, dude. A bunch of geckos shows up. Like more and more geckos keep showing up. It's like 20, 30, more and more of them keep showing up.
Piece of
And
cake.
Raiden looks at Snake and he's like, let's do this.
Dude.
Raiden says, I'll take Vamp, you take out the geckos. And Raiden and Vamp hop on top of the decommissioned Metal Gear Rex and they have a fight while Snake is down below fending
Fighting
off all of the geckos.
Dude, that's sick. So
Yeah.
Raiden gets his revenge or gets to finally fight Vamp. And I remember Vamp was like, are you going to be the one to finally kill me?
Yeah, plus Vamp is also the one that killed Emma Emmerich. So
yeah, you're right.
Otacon has stakes in this too.
Yeah, holy shit. This is epic.
Yeah, dude, this is one of the best sequences in the entire franchise, in my opinion.
Wow.
Literally, so like you play a snake. This is not a cutscene. You play a snake fighting off these geckos, but the screen goes into split screen, and the top of the bar shows Vamp and Raiden's fight while Snake is still fighting off the geckos, and you playing a snake.
That's
So
sick.
you get to see a cutscene while you're playing because the screen will literally split in half, and you can watch Raiden and Vamp fight while you're fighting off the geckos.
That's dope.
And it is again just beautiful choreography on the fight.
Yeah.
I will say it's super cool because, like I said, they're on top of Metal Gear Rex. You're controlling Snake. If you run over to the bottom of Rex and you look like you use your camera to look up, you can see their fight from Snake's perspective, and you still have
While
the
it's happening, oh,
yeah.
nice.
It's literally the cutscene and what their in-game models do is the exact same.
That's so
It's
cool.
so awesome.
Wow.
And it's one of the best moments in the entire MGS franchise. And I will stand by that. And anyone who has a different opinion can, kiss my butt.
And it's even more of like with Raiden making that choice to follow the path of Snake, and he makes that choice at Shadow Moses.
Dude, yeah, you're
The
right.
parallel, like the
You're right.
first game. I know it's not the first game, but the first like of the Solid series. And here's Raiden.
It's dude, I love Raiden.
Yeah,
I love Raiden, and I love that
I'm
you
glad he
love
made that
Raiden.
choice. Maybe I won't think the same later on in the game, depending on what happens. But I'm glad he's here.
I'm glad he's here too.
Yeah.
All right, dude, but Raiden, he eventually he best Vamp. Vamp falls to the ground, and Otacon gets Rex up and running, dude.
Damn. Simultaneously.
Yeah, it's pretty goated. But since Rex is up and running, Otacon uses Rex's missiles to blow up the rest of the geckos that were
Okay.
swarming Snake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Snake and Raiden, they both stand over Vamp as Vamp is writhing around in pain.
Yeah. Wait. Did he fall off the top of Rex?
Yes.
Oh, sick. Okay.
So he fell off the top of Rex and he's laying on the ground and he's like convulsing and
This is the
like
first time he's been actually close to dying.
yes. Um Naomi walks out and she goes on a bit. She's kind of like, "Oh,
She's.
Vamp's my creation and I
Ugh.
it's all my fault and I need to do justice and put things back into order how they were and just stupid dumb shit." And she's awful. I hate her.
And so after she took a tour of Shadow Moses,
Yeah.
she came back to.
My thoughts on where she went was she probably just like stood back so like she was out of the crossfire.
Yeah. Okay. She did the least amount possible.
But she pulls out a syringe,
She's good at
um,
that.
so like a suppressor nanomachine syringe, and she basically offers it to Otacon because Otacon's in the Mark III.
Okay.
So like the Mark III has like a screen with Otacon's face on it
Yeah.
and has like a cable that it can use to like R2D2 stuff.
Yes.
She offers this syringe to the Mark III, and Otacon is like, "Oh my god," because Vamp killed Emma Emmerich, so
Yeah.
this is like she's offering Otacon his moment of retribution, revenge.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, to use on Vamp.
But before Otacon can grab the syringe, Vamp grabs it and injects himself.
Ooh.
Yeah, Vamp
Whoa.
he basically is like I kind of mentioned this a couple times in the last episode, but he's tired of living.
Yeah, yeah, I
He
remember.
doesn't want to live anymore. And
Ooh.
he's basically seeing this way out and he like shoves the syringe in his neck and it sucks because it takes away the revenge from Otacon.
Honestly, though,
But it also that blood is no longer on Otacon's
I was
hands.
gonna say, yeah, it's a good, it's a good thing, but also, I guess, in the moment, it feels bad because Otacon didn't get to do it. But then,
Yeah.
in retrospect, yeah, probably for the best.
But Vamp dies, dude.
Finally,
Vamp is finally dead.
the Vamp is no longer a Vamp.
Yeah, no, he's a dead man. Like it's pretty gnarly too. His like eyes start turning red and all the veins in his body start like pulsating and like
Wow,
swelling up.
wow,
And pretty hard to watch, really. And he
yeah,
starts like screeching like a vampire.
wow.
It's pretty rough.
Rest in peace.
But Naomi, she starts crying and
She's crying. Get her out of here.
she's crying over Vamp.
Get her out of here.
And that's one of my biggest I low-key hate Naomi in this game. Because like before this game, Naomi and Vamp had zero connection. And in this game their connection's so strong that she's crying when he dies.
And apparently, like, she actually loved him.
I don't know. I think that was more so. Okay, you'll see.
I mean,
Let me keep going. You'll see.
because when you described them walking in, it sounded like she was kind of
He did call Naomi his new queen.
okay.
He called her his new queen
In this
when
preliminary to
when
this scene?
when they walked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
But we'll okay.
We'll save the rants.
We'll. I'm about to tell you something, and then we can rant
Go
afterwards.
for it.
Anyways, Naomi, as she's crying, she tells Snake that Liquid is outside on board of a ginormous war vessel, and the ship is called Outer Haven.
Mm,
Not Outer Heaven.
right.
Don't get it mixed up. It's not Outer Heaven.
They took out the E.
It's Outer Haven.
Okay.
She tells him that he plans to launch Rex's nuke from there to destroy JD. Naomi then she starts going on about how everyone eventually needs to atone for their sins, and she's like going on this whole spiel. She injects herself with the syringe and starts to fall over.
Okay. Okay.
She tells Snake, Raiden, and Otacon that she has had cancer for a long time, and she
Oh.
should have died a long time ago. She and Vamp are the same kind of creature, is what she says.
Okay.
And then, since she used the suppressor nanomachines on herself, they're no longer holding the cancer at bay, and that the cancer is going to kill her. Otacon starts crying and
What?
breaking down.
I'm gonna start crying.
He asks, "Why
This
does
is
it?"
some dumb
He
shit.
asks, "Why does it always end like this?"
No, Otacon.
And Otacon and Naomi have a moment where like the Mark III is like on the ground and Naomi's like holding it and like talking to Otacon through the camera.
Otacon is not allowed to have sex with any women.
When the geckos start sieging the hangar again, and there's no time. There's no time for a final goodbye. Like Naomi and Otacon don't no time. Quit that shit. And Snake and Raiden know.
There doesn't need to be a goodbye.
They know there's no time for a final goodbye because Raiden grabs the Mark III out of Naomi's hands and starts walking away with it. And Snake's like, Otacon, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Raiden's like, no, stop this shit.
yeah. But the three of them, um, they hop into the cockpit of Rex.
I mean, so wait, is Naomi like she's not like dying, is she? Or
She
is she?
dies. Yeah, this is
She dies immediately.
yes.
So she was like stage 4 cancer on the verge of death, but she started taking the nanos. And hasn't she been injecting herself throughout the game?
Yeah, but I don't think she was. They never specifically say, but I don't think those were suppressor nanomachines.
What
They
were they?
they were like she was injecting herself with more of the nanomachines that keep the cancer at bay. And this time she uses the same nanomachines
Do you
that Snake uses and that she used on Vamp.
do you think that's a plot hole?
No, I think I
Because wouldn't that mean Vamp would have to do the same thing?
no because she uses the same syringe she puts into Vamp.
Well,
Well, Vamp's nanomachines don't keep death at. I mean,
they do though.
they do, but it's like cancer itself would continue growing, whereas like Vamp's nanomachines would only activate every time he was about to die.
So you're saying since since Naomi's in a constant state of being about to die, she
Yes,
needs to keep adding them.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. That's my headcanon. The game never says. So if you want to call it a plot hole, I'm not going to yell at you. But
Okay. No,
this scene's dumb.
yeah.
I don't like this scene.
Yeah.
I like the scene before it. I
Yeah.
like what we're about to do. But the whole, I'm telling you, dude, I hate Naomi in this game.
Yeah, she's just inconsistent.
Inconsistent, Naomi ex machina, and
Yeah.
just kind of a bitch.
She had cancer.
She had cancer the whole
Yeah.
time. And it's like, that's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There was no build up to that at all.
No.
And then she just dies.
She's also been immortal at the same time.
Yep. And now she's dead.
She killed herself.
Yep. She did kill herself.
We're confused.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't like this. So if you don't like it, don't feel bad because I also don't like this.
Yeah, and I was saying that I was being harsh, but maybe something will change later on. Nothing changed. It got worse.
You know, it definitely got worse. It's gonna get worse later too.
All right. Let's hear it.
But when I talk about how like this game has some of the peaks of MGS and some of the lows of MGS for me,
Yeah.
this is the perfect example because we literally just had one of the peaks of the entire series in the last cutscene.
Yeah, followed
And
by
then it follows up by one of the worst things in the whole series.
Yeah.
This section right here is what I mean when I say my feelings on this game are mid.
Yeah.
Mixed, I guess, because I like it still. But,
I know.
anyways, Naomi dies. The three of them, they all jump into Rex's cockpit. And Otacon tells Snake how to pilot Rex. And oh my God, Justin, it's time to pilot a motherfucking goddamn son of a bitch ass Metal Gear,
Metal
motherfucker.
Gear. Dude.
We get to pilot Metal Gear Rex, dude.
That's crazy. The full circle moment.
The full circle moment. Snake is in the cockpit of Rex, and you literally get to control him on the way out of the hangar, killing all
That's
the geckos in the way.
that is sick. Are you stomping on them?
Like you're
Because
stomping
you're
him.
such a massive Metal
Yeah.
Gear.
Yeah, dude. And you're like throwing him out of the way. And he's got like little turrets that you can use to shoot him.
That's cool.
It's just like we had a peak cutscene, shitty dog ass cutscene, back to peakage. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. This game's so up and down for me.
Yeah.
But this shit's awesome, dude. They plow through the rest of the geckos and to get out of the base. But as they're leaving, um, an explosion goes off like at the door of the hangar,
Okay.
and it causes everything to start collapsing. And one of the geckos hits Metal Gear's cockpit, and Raiden falls out.
Oh.
Yeah, and this explosion happens, collapses on top of Raiden.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa. So like metal and the building itself?
yeah, like the building, like giant rocks, they fall onto Raiden.
Okay.
I will say he's not dead
He's
because
he's got that
you can still
he's
see
got
that.
that robotic nature
Yeah,
in him.
you can still see he's clearly alive because he's like trying to get out, but
Okay.
he's trapped right now.
Got it.
Before Snake can even process that Raiden fell out, though, something jumps out of the water and lands right in front of Snake and Metal Gear Rex.
Mm.
And we hear, "It's not over yet," as
Except
we
not
see,
actually
it's
British.
not British, but we hear, "It's not over yet, Snake,"
It's British in our
as
hearts.
Metal fucking Gear Ray shows up being piloted by
Whoa.
Liquid Snake.
Whoa, are we about to have a mech battle?
Oh, motherfucker, you know we're about to have Metal Gear Ray versus Metal Gear Rex, fucker.
That's crazy. Metal Gear Ray is way bigger, right?
Yeah, no, he's huge.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Um, but yeah, Metal Gear Rex versus Metal Gear Ray, and you get to do this. You're
This
piloting Rex.
this is truly
Boss battle ensues,
yeah,
dude.
this is like truly a massive moment
No,
for
dude,
the
it's
franchise.
so good. It's so good.
Dude, I just wish Naomi was still alive to witness this.
I don't. She slept with Otacon. She deserves to burn in hell.
All right. I won't let her just stay in this. This is cool. This is awesome.
No, dude, it's pretty gas, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to describe the mechanics of the fight. It's just literally it's a mech fight.
Yeah, my question is though, where is the Rex nuke? Where'd it go?
On Outer Haven. That's what Naomi told us.
Oh, okay. And that's what?
She said that Outer Haven was outside of Shadow Moses.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Chilling.
we don't exactly know where it's at,
Yeah.
but it's not like it's literally a ginormous fucking massive ship.
Okay. And Liquid's just here to be like kind of, clean up all his loose ends.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, they have their Metal Gear fight, dude, and it's awesome. It's so awesome. I can't say it's awesome enough because it's one of the peaks of the whole franchise.
Yeah.
And during the fight, Snake gets pretty fucked up. He even dislocates his arm.
Wow.
Like he can't use his right arm.
Wow.
And he falls out of the cockpit of Rex. After you beat Ray, I should have said that. But yeah, Snake is able to push through and beat Ray.
That's odd. And does Liquid just kind of run away, scurry off?
Liquid falls out of the cockpit of Ray, and like Liquid's laying on the ground.
Oh.
And Snake falls out of the cockpit of Rex, and his arm gets dislocated. He's fucked up.
Yeah.
Liquid, as he's laying on the ground, he stands up and he starts walking towards Snake, who's also laying on the ground. But then all of a sudden, Liquid grabs his chest and starts stumbling.
Oh, Return of the Ocelot.
And Snake says, "Fox." Liquid finishes the phrase by saying, "Die!"
Ooh.
And Liquid falls over, dude.
Hold on. So wait, not Return of the Ocelot. This was actually the
Return of the Fox die.
Return of the Fox die?
Dude, Liquid falls over.
Wait, have they not been in close quarters for that long?
No, they have.
So wait, what is it just like random when it happens?
We'll see.
Okay.
Let me keep going.
I see. Okay.
Snake is just sitting there looking at him like, is that actually what just happened? And then Liquid lifts his head and yells, "Think again. Not this time, Snake."
What? Wait, what is what you're like, huh? What you
He says, "Behold!" He holds his arms out, and he starts running away.
Why did they make this man not British?
He
Because
he played a little prank on Snake, dude.
this man, dude. If he had a twirly mustache and he was British
He does have a mustache,
pulling pranks like this, oh man, I just need it to be. That's amazing.
dude. He pulled a little prank on Snake.
He
Even had you going
he
too,
pulled a little prank and
because you
then
were
just
like, "Wait, how does this even work? Like, how does Fox Die just start working all of a sudden?" And then Liquid's like, "Psych."
and he let him live. He let
Yeah.
Snake live.
He starts running towards the end of the docks.
What is he doing?
It's really funny too, because like he like turns around and looks at Snake and he goes, "Ha ha," as he's like running
And he
away.
just runs away.
It's such a cartoony little
This
like
man is just such a cartoony villain.
he really is. He's dude, it's perfect.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
He's a character we love to hate, whereas Naomi's a character we hate to hate.
Yeah. We're like mad that Naomi exists,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
Liquid, we're like, "Ah, fucking you're such a goofball, dude.
He is a
Such
goofball.
a
He's a
goofball."
goofball who wants to destroy the world
Yeah.
or own the world.
But Snake, he gets up and he starts running after him, screaming, "Liquid!"
Yeah,
the whole
yeah, yeah,
time.
of course.
And they're both running after each other. Although,
Just running in circles.
um,
Liquid.
well, they're running towards the edge of the island, like
Okay,
towards the dock,
towards
like
Haven,
where the giant water
perchance.
body of water is.
Mm.
It might even be the Manhattan River.
I think that's called the ocean.
I thought it was the Manhattan River.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like a large body of water on the edge of Alaska is, I think, the ocean. I could be wrong though.
I think you are wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Am I? Okay.
Yeah. But we see Raiden. Like the screen cuts back to Raiden, and he's starting to regain consciousness under all of the rubble. He tries to move his arm, but it is completely trapped. Like he can't get up.
Okay.
The whole island starts shaking at this point. The entire island of Shadow Moses starts shaking, and we see Mount Snakemore start coming
What?
out of the ocean.
What?
It's literally a giant mountain with the heads of Big Boss, Liquid, Solidus, and Solid on it.
What is going on? Who made this?
Who made this?
Yeah, who under the ocean? Who made this? That's the question.
Well, it disappears. It was actually just a form of camouflage, and it was being used to camouflage Outer Heaven. Haven.
That is the most whack camouflage of all time.
It was awesome though.
Let's
It really
camouflage
is awesome.
let's camouflage this thing with something that's insanely weird and eye-catching.
Classic Liquid.
Yeah,
It's
honestly.
it's honestly it's pretty peak, and it only, dude.
I love how did it only camouflage for 10 seconds?
Yes, and then it goes
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Like it was just. It
He just
was.
wanted to show off. He just wanted to show off this random ass thing he created.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty stupid, but I love it. I
Look
absolutely
at our
love it.
heads. Look at us.
We're on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, Rushmore.
When are we on the Mount Rushmore?
Okay, it's gone now.
Well, dude, it's a parallel because you remember the AIs? They're the Mount Rushmore of AIs.
Yeah, well, I remember.
So Liquid's like he built his own Mount Rushmore of snakes.
Oh, what a guy, man. He's making little quips and jokes.
Yeah, dude. But Outer Haven, oh my God. It rises from the water. Snake starts coughing and falling over, and it's this bad situation because Haven, God damn it. If I say heaven one more time, I'm
Mm,
throwing myself out the window.
don't worry, I'll throw you.
Cool. Snake's falling over on his knees. Outer Haven is coming up out of the ground. And then we see that Raiden, he starts panicking as he sees that Snake isn't moving. Because Snake falls on his knees and he's just kind of like sitting there coughing.
Yeah.
Raiden starts panicking. He grabs his sword and cuts off the arm that's being held under the rocks.
Savage.
Just absolutely, it's pretty insane. He just slices that bitch off.
Yeah.
And then he rips it out, and you can see that part of it's still connected. So like he rips the stump out of the other part of the arm.
He's doing what Ocelot should have done.
Yeah, he really is.
He's dismembering something that doesn't need to be there anymore.
Yeah. Well, he gets up and he starts sprinting towards Snake. There's a distance between them. It's not like they're right next to each other.
This
Like,
is a dope visual.
Yeah.
He's one arm sprinting towards Snake.
and the reason why we see that he's panicking is that Outer Haven.
Bend over, you're getting thrown out the window.
All right. All right, we're back. I just got back from being thrown out the window.
Yeah. I mean, he this is like what we're a few weeks later now.
Yeah.
He's been in the hospital.
Yeah, both of my legs are broken and my jaw was dislocated.
Yeah, yeah. The legs were the window. The jaw was because I, punched you, what, 77 times in a minute to wake you up?
Um, yeah, I also was bleeding out of my eye sockets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which was not me or the window.
No, that was just the methamphetamine.
Yeah, because you fell on a meth needle.
Yeah. I mean, also the meth needle that I took right before we started recording.
It's been a tough few weeks.
Yeah, it really has.
What's even happened?
If you remember, I think Outer Haven was coming out of the ground or something.
Oh, okay, okay.
But no,
Haven, yeah, not heaven.
Haven. But no, Outer Haven. I said Haven.
Yeah?
Outer Haven.
Good boy.
We see the reason why Raiden was panicking is that Outer Haven is on a collision course for Shadow Moses.
Ooh.
It's like directly jetting towards Shadow Moses.
So it's like a boat?
Yeah, it's a giant boat.
Sorry, it's been a few weeks.
You're good.
Okay, okay. That makes sense.
But Snake is at the end of this dock and he's just sitting there on his knees. If Outer Haven crashes into the island, Snake is going to die.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. He's not moving at all either, which is why Raiden was panicking.
Yeah. I wonder if he's just accepting.
I think that's what he's doing because he's coughing, he's starting to, you know, lose his vision. I think he's just accepting defeat and is like,
Okay.
I'm done.
Yeah.
But right as Outer Haven is about to hit Shadow Moses, I'm talking like as it's colliding with Shadow Moses, Raiden jumps in front of Snake, and this motherfucker holds the entire ship off using his sheer power alone.
What?
He literally is standing in front of Outer Haven, and he's like has his arm out and his legs digging into the ground, and he's like holding it back.
His single arm. And he's like, what is he? So he's planted in the earth as he's holding an entire ship?
Yes. And
Dude.
you can see like his muscles, you can see like all of his cybernetics are working overdrive because his muscles start bulking and like start popping as
This is
he's like losing, he's not winning. He's just like slowing it
well,
down.
yeah, that's insane.
But he's literally like screaming at Snake. He's like, "Snake, get out of here."
Wow.
And he's
So
screaming at Snake as Snake is just staring at him. And then as Snake sees that Raiden's not going to hold it, it's going to crash. Raiden like I think like a rock hits like Raiden's leg and he like kicks it towards Snake or something. And Raiden's like, "Go, like get the fuck out of here."
yeah.
And Snake starts running away. He starts running in the opposite direction.
Oh my God.
And
Raiden, dude.
yeah,
I'm just thinking about when he was introduced, and now he's holding an entire ship back by one arm and saving Snake essentially.
but as Snake is running, dude, Snake starts passing out again.
Oh,
Yeah. Snake starts passing out while he's running, and he looks back and sees Raiden being crushed by Outer Haven as we see a flashback of memories. Like we hear the memories of Raiden and Rose meeting.
dude, it's the death reel. They're giving
Yep.
us the death
They're
reel.
giving us the death reel
Ah,
as you see that Raiden's body is going under Outer Haven.
oh my, he's getting crushed.
Yes.
Dude, why are they so tragic? What a tragic death.
Um,
Oh my,
from the distance, the USS Missouri shows up. Remember Mei Ling said she would show up if she could?
yeah.
It shows up and starts firing missiles at Outer Haven.
Okay, okay. That's some good news.
So Outer Haven takes some damage and they're like, "Oh shit, we better get out of here." So
Yeah,
they back up and start submerging underwater because it's also a submarine.
yeah, yeah, right. Of course.
It came from the water. It's obvious it'll go back to the water.
Yeah. It's like the Flying Dutchman.
But as Snake is losing consciousness, laying on the ground, he sees Raiden's mask and the lights start flickering out. Like
Damn.
his eyes start flickering
So
out.
the boat like pulled up, fucking smushed Raiden, and then reversed back basically.
Yeah, essentially.
And now Raiden's just a flat pancake.
We see Raiden's sword, but Raiden's body's not visible.
Oh, but we did see his face.
No, his mask.
Oh, his mask.
His
Okay,
mask.
okay, his
Like
mask.
the cybernetic lights in his mask start going out.
Okay, okay.
But it's insinuated that his body got trapped under Outer Haven and it's now in the ocean somewhere.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, dude?
What?
The fact that in every game, Cyborg Ninja, when a Cyborg Ninja is introduced, a Cyborg Ninja dies.
Yeah.
The Cyborg Ninja never survives.
And they're usually saving our
And
protagonist.
they're usually saving the protagonist. I know.
Cyborg ninjas have never really been bad guys, have they?
No, they've never been bad guys, and they've always died. It's so sad, and it had to be Raiden.
But yeah, Snake sees the lights go out as he passes out. End of Act 4.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
like the last thing he like sees the lights go out and then he like looks over and he sees the USS Missouri and the other ships with it firing on Outer Haven as it's like boating away.
Honestly, a nearly perfect act.
Without the Naomi stuff, that is a perfect act,
Like
right?
that was epic.
It was so good. That is my favorite act in the game.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was that
Act
was
5, I love the end. I love all the stuff that happens towards the end of Act 5, but Act 4 is my favorite overall act,
because
minus the Naomi stuff.
yeah. It's like end of Act 3, we had some it was tragic, but then mission briefing, we thought we had a chance. No. Taken from us, and we're in an even worse position.
Yeah. And then Act 4, like, because you said,
I was gonna say, yeah, end of Act 4, like it's even worse.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bad situation for our heroes.
Yeah, man.
So as with every act, there's a mission briefing at
Mhm.
the end. And I am just gonna there's a lot we're gonna hear in this mission briefing. So I'm just gonna say all of it. If you need me to stop me.
Okay. Give it to me.
But we see Snake on board the USS Missouri with everyone else. Everyone's here, Mei Ling, Otacon, Snake, Shitstain, a bunch of soldiers.
Okay.
They're all here. Snake is in rough shape. Like he's even using an oxygen mask at this point to keep his breathing stable.
Wow.
Like this man is coming to the end of his rope soon. The game has shown us that he's getting progressively worse, and it is not slowing down at any rate.
Mhm.
But Mei Ling and Otacon are kind of explaining to everyone else the situation of what they're in. And they say that there is a satellite in orbit that essentially is the house of JD. That's where the AI is located. Liquid wants to launch Rex's warhead from it. He has to launch it from a specific location in the ocean in order for it to hit, because he has
Mm.
to wait for JD to be in a specific spot in
In
orbit for
orbit.
it to hit.
Cool.
But Liquid is on board of Outer Haven, and they're heading there as we speak. The USS Missouri is following behind them, and they need to wait until Outer Haven resurfaces to board the vessel. Snake, I think it's funny because we've mentioned Star Wars references a couple times throughout this podcast
Yeah.
series.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Snake gives us a Star Wars reference of his very own.
No way.
Snake says, Liquid's very own Death Star.
Ooh, he's a cultured man.
Yeah, I mean, the reference honestly doesn't make sense
Yeah.
because it's not a Death Star, but he's
Not at
dying. We'll
all.
give him some slack,
Yeah.
right?
Also, if you know anything about Star Wars, does that actually make you cultured? Because honestly, I feel like everybody
I
knows.
mean, Star Wars is kind of like the biggest pop culture
It
phenomenon of
is.
all time. So,
It's the easiest thing to reference.
yeah, but he's dying. We'll give him some slack.
Yeah, it's okay.
Mei Ling keeps walking everyone through the briefing, and Shitstain, as Mei Ling is walking through the crowd, for some reason, dude, Shitstain, I fucking hate this guy, but he tries to grab Mei Ling's butt.
Oh. Oh,
Like
oh.
they're all sitting in chairs, and Mei Ling walks by.
Hold on.
Shitstain, you see him, he starts raising his hand to touch her butt, and Meryl slaps his arm.
What?
Yeah,
Bro was just cupping his hand towards her?
towards her butt.
I don't even know what to say.
And then Meryl slaps him, and he just stares like the stupid piece of shit that he is.
What is this man's why?
I fucking hate Shitstain,
Where,
dude.
when, continue.
Mei Ling explains that they need to destroy GW, which is on board
I
of
love how
Outer
they just
Haven.
threw this in the mission briefing and then all of a sudden Mailing just continues.
Well, she doesn't notice. Meryl slaps his hand before because she's walking away,
Okay, got it.
so she doesn't notice.
Okay.
But she explains that GW is on board Outer Haven in the lower decks, like the AI home, like heart.
Mm.
So they need to destroy GW, just like they did in MGS2.
Okay, so they gotta take out that submarine.
Well, they just need to destroy GW on
Yeah.
board the submarine.
Okay.
So they don't actually have to destroy the entirety of Outer Haven, just GW.
Okay.
If they do destroy GW, it'll rip Liquid's access from the rest of the Patriot AIs away. So he won't be able to get control of them, because the only reason he's going to be able to get to the other three AIs is because of GW. JD is the thing standing in his way. So if they destroy GW before he destroys JD, then no matter if he destroys JD or not, he won't be able to get into the rest of the AIs. Is that tracking?
Yes.
Mei Ling, unfortunately, she explains that there is a huge, huge downside because the hallway that leads up to GW is essentially a wall of microwaves.
Okay. So what, like if you walk through it, you're gonna get cooked?
Yeah, essentially. It's not like a microwave like you throw some leftover spaghetti in. They're like panels that act like they emit radiation waves. So it's
Yeah.
essentially like walking through a microwave.
Okay.
And this entire long ass hallway is coated in them.
That's very efficient.
Yeah, I mean, unless you control like if liquid shut it off, you could walk through, but a normal person most likely would die if they walked in there.
Okay.
Snake from the back, after she says that, she says, or he says, giant microwave oven. You'd have to have a death wish to go in there. Sounds like the perfect job for me.
Aw.
Meryl yells at him. Mei Ling cuts her off, and then Snake asks how do we know all this information? Like, how does Mei Ling just know all this shit? Otacon tells us that Naomi left all of this data behind. When she was on board the Nomad, she left all of this data behind for Otacon and Sunny to find, like in a program or something.
What? What is she doing? Why, dude? What do you mean? This game could be perfect, but she exists.
Snake asked whose side was she even on, and
We're all asking that.
Otacon says he doesn't know, and he doesn't know if he ever truly will.
So we'll never truly know.
The mood in this room is pretty grim, dude. Everyone's pretty depressed, and Meryl yells out, she's like, "There's got to be at least one positive here," but there isn't. No one gives them any positives, and they're all just kind of sitting there like in a depressed state because this is a bad situation.
Yeah. So, man, why did Naomi decide to end her life? If ugh, okay, we're just kicking a dead horse at this point.
What, the Naomi horse?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're kicking a dead Naomi.
Everyone at
We're gonna
home,
say
I'm
nine nay
smiling.
so many times.
I'm smiling because Justin's losing his mind over Naomi, and I would be too if I was hearing this for the first time. But I've already played this game, so I already have dealt with it.
It's probably a tragedy that all Metal Gear lovers had
All
to go
Metal Gear
through.
lovers have to go through this
Yeah, is
because
there anybody that applauds this part of the game?
I don't I don't know. I hope not because Naomi's the worst. I hate Naomi.
Yeah, if there anybody out there that likes her character in this game, um, we'll invite you on the pod. Yeah,
And you can tell us why you have a dumb opinion.
yeah, and we'll pick it apart and we'll treat you like a terrible person.
We'll even take a shit on your lap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Both of
You
us.
will be our shit stain,
Yep. Absolutely.
and we're gonna also make you dinner because you're our guest.
Yeah, no, we got to be nice to our guest.
Oh yeah, no, we'll be super nice.
So we'll like cook you some like leftover half-eaten pizza.
Yeah, 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 in the microwave.
Yeah. And then we'll shit on your chest.
Yes,
But we'll talk about Metal Gear after that, so it's cool.
we love you.
We love you.
Keep it up.
Dustin doesn't. I do.
Keep it up and see what happens.
What is going to happen?
Rigor mortis.
What?
What?
I don't know. You want to hear more Metal Gear, dude?
No.
Okay.
I would love to.
You're giving me mixed signals. Now you're just staring at me. Everyone leaves the room except Snake and Otacon. And
Mhm.
Snake is like struggling to light a cigarette, so Otacon walks over and lights the cigarette for Snake.
Okay.
Then they just kind of have like a little bro talk,
Mhm.
just talking it out. And Snake asks how they're going to destroy GW, and Otacon tells him that there's a virus.
Okay.
There's a virus that they need to upload into GW.
Kind of like what Solidus was wanting to do.
Yes. Snake says, like, he asks where the virus came from. And Otacon tells him that Naomi made most of it, but wasn't able to finish the virus before she died. So Sunny took over and used the program that Emma Emmerich used back in MGS2.
Sonny, the
Yeah.
child,
Yeah, Sunny's extremely smart.
smarter than
Smarter than Otacon.
perhaps Einstein himself.
Yeah, she is definitely smarter than Einstein, dude.
Wow.
I mean,
That's crazy.
theoretically.
Theoretically,
Yeah.
because theoretically you are smarter than anyone theoretically.
Well, theoretically, Sunny is theoretically the smartest theoretical person that is in theory.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, the game does show Sunny being smart. Like there's a couple scenes of her like hacking into systems earlier in the game. And I did mention that Sunny is the one who helped Otacon build the Mark II and 3.
No, it is cool. It is cool that like this character has
It's it's
the Sunny has kind of yeah.
it's mentioned like in the game kind of in passing that since the Patriots held Sunny for like the first 10 years of her life,
Yeah.
maybe like 8 cuz I think she's like 8 years old. They held her since she was born. Basically, Sunny lived inside of an AI.
That's insane.
So she's literally had no contact with the outside world. All she knows is how computer programs work.
Yeah. And
So
she was raised by the goats of the world.
yeah, so she's insane. She's insanely smart.
Nice.
But
And Naomi um continues to make no sense.
yes,
She was making a code to destroy, but obviously she died before she could,
yeah.
which was her
And
choice.
then Sunny finished it off using the programming that Emma Emmerich used back to destroy GW back in MGS2.
What a legend.
So Otacon, he like sheds a tear because he's like, with these three people's help, who I care about all of them. He's like,
He
with
cares
all of
about
their
all of them.
help, we'll be able to finally destroy GW.
Dude was seduced one time, and he's
I'm
never gonna
telling
let
you,
it
man,
go.
he's got attachment issues.
He's never gonna let it go.
I'm telling you, bro. Attachment issues is the name of Otacon's
It is
game.
an issue.
It is an issue.
Man.
But Snake suffers another nano attack, and he uses the syringe to ease his pain. Otacon begs him not to go, and Snake is persistent and says he has to. And that's the end of the mission briefing.
See, originally we could have been like, well, let's get Raiden to do it. But now he's dead.
Yeah.
So there truly is no one.
Yeah, it's just Snake.
I mean, I was just trying to think of any other possibilities. Maybe because you can't send Meryl because she's compromised by the nanos.
Yes.
You can't send Otacon because he's Otacon.
Yes.
You can't send. There's no one left.
No, it's just Snake.
And Shitstain.
It's just Snake and Shitstain.
Yeah.
But Shitstain's also really stupid. Like the game has shown us many times that he's dumb.
Yeah, and
Like he fucks everything up.
he fucks everything up, and he also likes to sexually harass women.
Yes, he's a piece of shit. We hate Shitstain.
Cool.
But we start Act 5, dude. Act 5, Old Sun.
Old son.
You ready for this?
The sun is truly old.
You ready for this? It's fake too.
All right.
But Act 5 starts with the USS Missouri. It's gaining on Outer Haven, and they're set to resurface in 20 minutes. So we get a pretty awesome shot of Snake, Otacon, Meryl, and I guess Shitstain's there too. They're all walking in slow-mo on the deck. And it's just like a cool shot of them like walking together across the deck of the USS Missouri.
Nice.
It's pretty dope. Snake and Otacon are talking as they're walking, and Otacon mentions that they recovered Raiden's body.
Okay.
And they're trying to save his life, but they don't know if they can.
Dude, okay, so he might not die?
He might not be dead
Nice.
because he wasn't entirely dead when they found his body.
Okay.
Like, you called him a superhero. He's not a superhero. He's a cyborg ninja, but I mean, he is still pretty super.
Yeah.
As they're walking, Snake sees Drebin sitting over towards a little bit on the deck of the USS Missouri.
I was wondering where this man was.
Snake asks Drebin what he's doing there, and Drebin explains that after Liquid gained control of the SOP system, the war economy is slowed down because, I mean, Liquid is essentially controlling the wars of the world, and he's pretty much caused most of them to stop.
Yeah.
So
So Liquid. So what we're learning is Liquid has been the good guy this whole time.
no, I think it's because Liquid is like, I don't want my PMCs out doing all this extra stuff right now when they could be helping me. And then once Liquid gains control of or destroys GW and has control of everything, then he can start it back up.
Right.
It's kind of like a
Which-
ceasefire until Liquid's plan is full to fruition.
Which is interesting because once he has control of everything, he's just going to be fighting himself.
Yes, but he'll be the one in control of fighting himself.
So, but
I think it's more about principles on Liquid's part. I think it's more like he does not want to be under anyone else's reins.
yeah.
And if he's the one holding the reins, you know.
So
Plus, he also. Sorry, I cut you off.
you're fine. His end goal is to control everything,
Yes.
and really after that, it doesn't matter because he controls everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want Liquid controlling everything, so it's still not good.
I don't know. He doesn't seem too bad.
He is bad. He's bad.
What has he done bad so far?
Um, I don't know, man. Everything.
I can't remember anything.
I mean, he killed some people in Shadow Moses.
Oh yeah, yeah. He killed some.
Yeah. Well, killing is wrong,
Yeah. Well,
Justin.
Snake's killed plenty of people.
But Snake is awesome.
You know what? I might start being on Liquid Snake's
If we end
side.
this and you're on Liquid's side, I'm gonna throw something at a wall.
Liquid
And
has
I might curse.
Liquid
I
has
might curse.
purposely say like not killed Snake. It's almost like he wants to be thwarted. I feel like Liquid wants to be stopped. You
What?
just gave me a look. Am I?
I didn't give you any looks.
All right, let's see.
I didn't
Let's
give you
see.
any looks, dude.
Okay.
Misinformation over here, dude.
Yeah, right, right.
But Drebin basically
Sounds about
explains
real.
that he's here on business because Snake's here, and you still have the Drebin shop.
Yeah.
Okay. But Drebin also says that he supplied the catapults that Snake and the others are going to use to slingshot themselves on board of Outer Haven.
Let's go, dude.
They're like big catapults at the edge of the USS Missouri. Snake,
Body catapults.
yeah, Snake, Shitstain, and Meryl all have one, and they're going to be used to throw themselves on board of the
And what, like
USS
just
Missouri.
parachute in kind of?
They don't have parachutes.
So they're just
They're
literally
literally just
full sending it.
yeah, they're literally yeeting themselves on board of Outer Haven.
This makes
After
sense.
because when Outer Haven resurfaces, the like hull opens up.
Yeah.
So when the hull opens up, they're going to use themselves to slingshot onto the
Well,
vessel.
fall damage only exists if the story calls for it.
I mean, they all definitely when they land take some damage. They're all definitely like injured.
Yeah, but like not that bad.
Yeah,
Because
kind of.
fall damage it's a choice.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
you want to get hurt when you fall, that's your option. When you fell out that window, you didn't have to break your legs.
let's just say this, dude. Let's just say this. They all have feather falling boots on.
Ah, yeah.
There we go.
I like that.
Plot hole sealed.
Good. And you know why? You know how they got those feather falling boots? Naomi left them
Yeah, Naomi Ex Machina.
because she knew.
Yeah, she knew. She knew they were gonna have to slingshot themselves.
Naomi Ex Machina is a great name.
Naomi Ex Machina.
Yes, yes. All right, man. What happens after they slingshot?
Well, before they slingshot, some time passes, and Outer Haven starts to surface. So Snake and Meryl and Shitstain, they all get onto the catapults.
Mm-hmm.
And then Snake and Meryl hear Campbell over codec. Campbell says, the whole gravity of the situation, like the fate of the world rests on your guys' shoulder. This is your last chance to stop Liquid's armed subjugation of the entire world.
Wow.
And then Campbell also tells Meryl that he's proud of her. And this is the first time that we've ever seen them talk to each other in this game. And Campbell's like, I'm proud of you. Do your mission. Like treating her like a soldier.
So
And
he's kind of
she cries a little.
oh, okay.
It seems like a not like a bad crying, like kind of a sorrowful, like
I mean, potentially the end of the world.
yeah,
So no reason to hold a grudge now.
yeah. But Outer Haven, the hull opens, hordes of missiles start firing at the USS Missouri, and Snake, Meryl, and Shitstain all shoot themselves on board of Outer Haven.
Good stuff.
They all get on board except Shitstain. He falls into the ocean.
Oh, so he missed.
Yeah, he missed. Like I told you, the game shows us that he's a fuck up.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a dumb piece of shit who fucks everything
Did
up.
he even have a choice in the matter, or was the slingshot just not aimed right?
No, he just fucked it up. Like he presses the button like later than he's supposed to,
Oh,
and like the slingshot, like his leg catches in the slingshot, and he
nice.
just falls off.
Okay. Is he?
It's
He feels like comic relief at this point,
he
but also he
yes, but
sexually harasses people.
he is definitely supposed to be comic relief, but he's not good comic relief.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that's the easiest way I can say that.
Good.
Snake and Meryl, once they get on board, like they land on board of Outer Haven, but they don't land in the same spot, so they're not together.
Okay.
And they got to find each other. But the problem is that Outer Haven is absolutely crawling with frogs. I mean, there's thousands of frogs on this boat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Snake fights his way through horde after horde after horde, and he is told by Otacon where GW is. It's in the main tower, located in the server room, which is like below deck. And Snake is on his way to go there.
And they still haven't made a plan yet for the microwave, right?
I mean, Snake's just gonna try to get through it.
Wow, dude.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's literally they don't have any other options.
Dude, what if the microwave actually helps Snake and destroys the sickness inside him? That'd be
That'd be
crazy.
cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be awesome.
Oh, okay.
As Snake makes his way to the server room, he comes across like a war room setting. So think about like, I don't know, like think of like a military room where there's like rows of chairs. Bro, think of Revenge of the Sith. I know,
Okay.
another Star Wars reference.
Okay.
But think of Revenge of the Sith. You know, in like the sit, like in the council room where Snake or not Snake, where Yoda and Emperor Palpatine fight at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
This looks like that room, and there's like a
Sweet.
big console in the middle.
So is it that massive?
It's pretty big.
Wow.
Like it's in on the way to the main tower.
So this Outer Haven is real deep in the water. Like it goes
Outer
down.
Haven is the biggest machine we've seen in the series.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's bigger than Arsenal Gear.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, this is
That makes more
like
sense.
a small country.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's fucking huge.
Got it.
But yeah, he comes across this room and he sees that Meryl is lying on the ground.
Fall damage?
No, because this is below deck,
Oh,
so
okay.
she wouldn't have been able to get in here from the catapult.
Just had to make sure.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. She has feather falling on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
But she starts to stand up, and she's like being weird. It kind of looks like she's being puppeteered.
Mm.
She
Gobs.
raises her gun to her head, and then a bullet flies through, knocking it out of her hand. As Shitstain has arrived,
Yay.
he runs over and grabs Meryl before she can like do any damage to herself. And as this is playing out, we see Screaming Mantis, dude.
Oh, I forgot there was one more.
Screaming Mantis makes herself she makes herself known.
Ah. Does she scream?
She screams a lot. It's
Okay.
actually kind of hard to listen to sometimes.
Oh yeah, I imagine. Is it like unsettling or annoying?
It's extremely unsettling.
Okay, okay.
Um, but again, Screaming Mantis tries to like puppeteer Meryl and Shitstain. Shitstain is immune. He's not being puppeteered.
Wait, so she has control of the GOP?
No, she doesn't have control of the GOP.
How is she able
We'll
to
find out.
puppeteer the nanos?
We'll
Okay,
find out.
okay, okay, okay.
But she is trying to control them, and she can't get a control of Shitstain, so
Yeah,
she
right.
can only control Meryl. A bunch of frogs rush in, and Shitstain gets shot in the leg. And as he lies on the ground, boss battle ensues.
Okay. And is Meryl
Snake has to avoid hitting Meryl while the corpses of all of the frogs that he is killing and Screaming Mantis are attacking him.
Whoa.
Because she's trying to attack him as well.
Oh, okay.
And like all the frogs that are rushing in, as Snake kills them, their bodies like get resurrected.
Is it like they're dead, but the nanos
They're
are
dead,
using
but
the
they're
body?
being used as like puppets.
That's cool.
Um, and if you can see, again, for everyone at home, I do show pictures of these characters to Justin. So if you're curious, just look it up. But Screaming Mantis has two little puppets.
Describe these puppets.
One looks like Psycho
Well, that's what
Mantis.
I'm looking at.
Yeah, one looks like Psycho Mantis and one looks like the Sorrow. And they hang off her arms.
Yeah, they're small.
Yeah.
Okay.
But these puppets is what Snake has to hit because he can't hit Screaming Mantis. Can't shoot her.
Why is that?
Because she is flying and she'll like dodge out of the way of the bullet.
But the puppets are
The
like
puppets are physical objects. It's not like she can phase those.
okay. What do the puppets do?
They're essentially are what they give her like power.
Okay. And they're just there.
They're hanging off her arms.
So he can't shoot her, but he can shoot
The puppets.
the puppets. Why
Yes.
can't he shoot her again?
She like phases in and out.
She phases in and
So
out.
like if he tries to shoot her, she'll like
No.
teleport out of the way.
Okay. But the puppets don't phase in and out.
No, they do. But like if you shoot her in game, if you shoot her and your bullet hits her, her body will like phase in and out next to where the bullet would have hit, so she didn't get hit.
Okay.
But if you shoot the puppet, it doesn't happen.
Okay.
Is that tracking?
Yeah.
I mean, just it's a boss battle mechanic.
Yeah.
So it's not like a plot hole or anything. It's just how the boss fight works.
That makes sense. I for some reason I got really confused. But
It's okay. It's not that big of a deal.
yeah.
But as Snake is hitting, like he's trying to hit her, he realizes that like the puppets are what are controlling the other bodies.
Okay.
So that's why he starts attacking the puppets. Every time he shoots one, Screaming Mantis screams some more, and you realize this is kind of how you got to beat her. So after you drain her health bar, she falls down and Screaming Beauty comes out. Snake also beats her. And once she is dead, we see the mask of her exosuit start moving on its own.
Ooh.
And then her entire exosuit reassembles itself. And we see Psycho Mantis, dude.
Yo. It
Yeah.
reassembles into Psycho Mantis?
Well, we see his ghost behind. Like her exosuit starts floating in the air, and we see Psycho Mantis's ghost like floating behind her.
What? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I was telling you, man. I was telling you. So Vamp can't be a vampire, but Psycho Mantis can be a psychic ghost.
And this is the same Psycho Mantis.
It is the ghost of Psycho Mantis.
Where did Psycho Mantis die again?
In Shadow Moses.
Okay.
But it's kind of funny. You know, Psycho Mantis, he tries to read your memory card,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
since it's the PS3, there is no memory card.
Oh, that's cute.
So in his dialogue, he's like, I will read your mind. And then he's like, what? What? Where is your memory card?
Ah, okay.
And then he gets annoyed and dissipates.
Oh, so it was just a bit.
It was a bit. Yeah.
Okay. So they just threw him in as a
And
bit.
okay.
Interesting.
So this is like the most I should probably actually explain this backstory to you because I haven't explained any of the B&B Core's backstories because it's pointless and just takes up too much time.
Go for it.
But basically, after this, after you beat her, we learn that it wasn't actually Psycho Mantis. It was like Screaming Mantis. She was hypnotized to think she was being possessed by Psycho Mantis. And the nanomachines basically created a second consciousness of Psycho Mantis to like pretend control her.
Oh. But it was the nanos controlling her.
Yes, essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't actually, this does not matter. Don't get too hung up over
I
this.
won't.
It does not
I already
matter.
forgot it.
Good. It's fun though. Okay, in the game though, you're like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Until you realize it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. And then you just continue on.
Again, this game has greats and not greats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's a fun visual. It's a fun visual, dude.
I get it.
All right, but yeah, Snake has finally ended all of the B&B unit. They're all gone. They're all dead.
Mm-hmm. That's how you know we're getting close.
Snake runs over to Meryl to make sure that she's okay when more frogs start ambushing in and start like crowding around them. Meryl tells Snake that he needs to head on because through the hallway behind them is where he needs to go to get to the central core room where JD, or not JD, GW is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She says she's going to hold off the frogs. So Snake runs through the door as Meryl starts shooting off the frogs. And dude, there's literally like, I'm talking hundreds. Like Meryl is fending off hordes of frogs by herself.
Yeah. And I had this thought, like the frogs don't have a choice, right?
No, the frogs are all being controlled.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Shitstain, he comes to and he starts helping Meryl.
He doesn't just shit, he also comes.
Yeah, he does. He comes too.
What a guy.
He does come too.
Yeah.
You gonna keep going, dude? Okay. Well, Shitstain, he comes to and he starts helping Meryl fend off the frogs. And are you ready? Ready to hear why Shitstain has not been affected by any of the nano scourges?
Oh, I'm absolutely ready.
Meryl asks him like why Screaming Mantis wasn't able to control him. And he tells us, dude, that he doesn't have nanomachines inside his body.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
And Meryl's like, why don't you have nanomachines? Did you know this was going to happen? And he says, no, I'm just afraid of needles. So I ducked out every time that we had mandatory shots.
Okay.
That's his entire reason why he doesn't have nanomachines.
That's cool. That's cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But what was it like supposed to be a big reveal?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's done in the style where it's like it is a reveal, but at the same time, it's like
It's like in passing.
it's like while they're fighting, like they're fending off frogs right now.
Okay.
So it's like they're talking to each other. It's like that classic action sequence of two characters fighting frogs while they're talking.
Nice.
Yeah, and he tells us that. And now I will explain to you who Shitstain is.
Okay,
Now
cool.
that we know that.
This has been the moment I've been waiting for since I woke up 3
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yes. So Shitstain, his name is Johnny Sasaki,
Yep.
and he tells Meryl that he's loved her ever since he met her back at Shadow Moses. Do you know who Shitstain has been this whole time? Do you remember the guard that Meryl stole his clothes
Uh,
back in MGS1 to use as a disguise?
yeah.
That was Johnny Sasaki,
Okay.
and that's who Shitstain is. He is a
Nice.
reoccurring character in every game in the franchise. Because in the real world, there was a character, not character, there was a person at Konami who Kojima didn't like because he was lazy at his job, and his name was Johnny Sasaki.
Whoa. So this is full government name.
Yes. Well, I don't know. That's like the nickname they gave him. I don't think it's his actual name.
They
But like that's
nicknamed
what
him the character from the game.
yeah, they named the character from the game after his nickname in real life.
His nickname is a full name.
I guess. I don't know. Dude, they're
Dude's name is Larry Jones, but his nickname is Johnny Sasaki.
I don't know. I don't know, dude.
That's funny.
I don't know how Japanese names work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they make Johnny shit himself in every game.
Okay.
That's the joke.
So they didn't fire the
And
dude. They
and
just shit on him in a video game and
yeah,
made him still work.
yeah.
Got it.
And in MGS3, it's his dad because it's a prequel. So like
Wow.
when Snake is in the you remember when Big Boss gets captured and he's in the prison cell?
Yeah.
The guard who's outside of it, if you wait around, the guard will start talking to you and he'll be like, "Yeah, I got a wife and kid at home and I'm really happy to go back to them eventually." And Snake's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Oh, it's Johnny." And he's like, "Oh, what's your son's name?" He's like, "Oh, it's Johnny."
Oh,
They're both named Johnny.
nice.
So Johnny Sasaki's a recurring character in every game, and in this game, he's a main character, and
Yeah.
he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And do you know what's about to happen, Justin? Do you want to
What?
know what the fuck is about to happen?
What
We're
happens?
definitely not about to get another low of the franchise, in my opinion.
Good. Good.
Johnny says that he's loved Meryl ever since he met her back in MGS1.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asks Meryl to marry him.
What the fuck?
And she tells him no.
Good.
And he's like, why? He literally says it like that too. He's literally crybaby bitch.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally stupid little crybaby bitch, and we all hate. Me and my homies hate Johnny Sasaki.
Okay.
And then Meryl, because she's a strong, independent woman, pushes him up against the wall and says, "I'm gonna be the one to ask." And then she asks Johnny to marry her,
What?
and he says yes.
Wait, what? When? Where? Wh- This is so out of left field.
And they're gonna get married, and they have a smooch, and they're fighting off all the frogs.
When did she ever show interest in him? This dude tried to cup Mei Ling's ass,
Yep.
and Meryl is the one who stopped him. But what? Was she like turned on by that?
Don't know.
I'm really displeased.
I am too.
I thought Meryl and Snake were endgame.
Well, I mean, Snake's old, so he's probably got an old, saggy ball sack.
Yeah, but yeah, but I thought I thought he would get like reversed or something. God, dude.
Yeah, dude. She fucking asked.
Shitstain has a shit covered ball sack. You
He
know,
has a shit covered ball sack, and he's a sexist, sexual assaulter,
there's
piece
more
of dumb dog shit.
there's more people that exist, Meryl.
And Meryl's like, "Yeah, I'll marry you."
Oh
Yeah,
God.
no, this is awful. I hate this. I
Oh God.
genuinely hate this. This is my least favorite part of the entire franchise.
Dude, Meryl and Otacon would have been actually
Dude,
better
I
if they
literally
set
told
that
you
up.
when we started this episode that Shitstain is my least favorite character in the franchise. This is the fucking scene why.
Does it just doesn't make
It
sense.
I mean, it makes sense. It's like logically it's okay that it happens, but like character wise, it's the worst thing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah,
I despise this.
that's silly. That's
It's
just
it's
borderline
literally my least
silly,
favorite part.
goofy goober time.
It's awful.
We don't know why.
So if you hate it, Justin, just know that your host and your Exposition CE
Me and
is
my homies hate Johnny
me and my
Sasaki.
homies hate Johnny Sasaki,
Yeah.
which is why I've called him shit stain the whole time because I show this man no respect.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I don't blame you.
but after that stupid piece of dog shit scene, we cut back to Snake. He starts having an attack again, and he falls to the ground and injects himself with a syringe, and it's not working that well.
Mm,
It's starting to lose its effect,
like he's building a tolerance.
like he's building a tolerance to it.
Okay.
But it's bad because as he's like trying to regain his consciousness, a bunch of like a group of frogs, they start rounding the corner and they start walking closer to him.
Mm,
It's pretty like climactic too.
yeah.
Because like Otacon's in the Mark III and he's yelling at Snake. He's like, "Get up, Snake! Get up! They're coming! Get up, Snake!" As they're all like 30 of them are walking towards him,
Wow.
and he's like struggling, like he's trying to get up, but he can't.
Yeah.
Um, but as the frogs they get like right up next to him, the door opens behind him and someone jumps through.
Who is it?
Raiden with no arms and his swords in
Yo.
his mouth.
What? This dude is insane.
He
He's
jumps
back.
through
He's
with
fucking alive.
he's alive. He has no arms and he's holding his sword in his mouth. And
Oh,
you want to know what he says?
what?
He says, "I am lightning, the rain transformed."
With the sword in his mouth?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, because like since he's got like cybernetic like enhancements, like his voice is coming out of like speakers on his neck.
That's even cooler.
So it sounds like a robot-y like, "I am lightning, the rain transformed."
Dude.
As he's holding the sword in his mouth with no arms in a trench coat.
Dude. And does he clap the frogs?
Dude, he literally beats these frogs to a pulp.
Wow.
I'm telling you, dude, he's like the best character of this
Yeah,
game.
he's
He's
insane.
fucking awesome.
He is awesome. The payoff
But
of
he starts slowly walking towards the
oh,
frogs and they start backing up. And Raiden
I'd be
tells
scared shitless.
I would be too. I'm scared shitless right now.
I'd be shit staining
Yeah,
everywhere.
I wouldn't go that far. That dude sucks.
Well, no. I'd be I'd be just shitting my pants.
We
I wouldn't be emanating shit.
Yes,
stains.
okay.
Don't get me wrong here.
No, we
do
don't
not get me
no,
wrong.
that guy sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So Raiden he tells Snake that Snake needs to let him handle this and that Snake has done enough. And Snake is like, "I don't have anything left to go back to, Raiden. You still have the opportunity to bow out. Like you still have a family to go back to."
I mean, he's talking to a dude with no arms.
Well, I mean, they were
And
robot arms, so
yeah, you're right. But he's talking to a dude who's like deep in the trenches too, you know? But
yeah.
I guess he's right. Like,
I mean, Snake is like he doesn't want Raiden to follow this path, so he's trying with everything in his entire power to get Raiden
yeah,
to turn back.
and you know, Snake is at the point where he kind of
He kind of views Raiden as not like a I wouldn't say like a mentor student relationship, but kind of like a younger brother relationship.
yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
I think how Snake sees Raiden.
yeah. And yeah, Snake technically does have, I guess, you know, very limited time to live. We don't know when.
But Raiden, he like kind of understands in this moment that this is Snake's last final battle, and Snake needs to be the one to do this for Snake's sake.
Mm.
So Raiden like steps to the side, and Snake like gets up and starts like hobbling through as Raiden starts fighting off and fending off all the rest of the frogs.
So he's like, I got your six. Fucking
Yeah,
finish this.
he says, "Head on, Snake. I'll cover you."
Nice.
So as Snake he like leaves Raiden behind,
Yeah.
he walks through the door and Otacon locks it. That way Raiden can't follow him.
Okay.
So it's just Snake from this point on,
So yeah, Raiden's committed to
holding back the frogs.
essentially. Raiden is doing everything he can to end his life.
Kinda,
It
yeah.
seems like Raiden's just like, I will do like I don't know. He's a martyr for Snake.
He really is at this point.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't know what he wants, and
Mhm.
he's just battles all he knows right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but Snake he keeps walking down like a corridor until he gets to another door. And through this scene, we see that he's getting progressively worse
Yeah.
at an accelerated rate. Like it's getting worse by the second.
Okay.
Like he's stumbling at this point. Snake, he comes to the faded microwave hallway, dude.
A faded microwave hallway.
And he starts walking through it, but it is immediately evident that Snake is suffering and he starts falling over himself. And he's like hobbling. And the screen splits into split screen. And we see everyone else struggling in their own battles at the same time while Snake is trudging down this hallway.
Is this a cutscene?
No, you're playing a Snake.
You are playing, but
So
simultaneously.
it's the same thing as like during the Raiden Vamp fight where the screen splits into two
Okay.
and like you see everyone else in their own specific battles. This is another highlight of the series.
Yeah.
Raiden is fending off hundreds of frogs at this point.
Yeah.
Like he's literally mowing down leagues of frogs. We see Johnny and Meryl. they're posted up shooting at the frogs, and they're starting to run out of ammo.
They're pulling a Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann in the
Exactly.
fucking third Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Absolutely, that is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Except it's
Um,
not nearly as cool because it's fucking shit stained.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Mei Ling and Otacon, they're on board the USS Missouri, and the ship is still under attack from Outer Haven when a Metal Gear Ray jumps out of the water
Whoa.
onto the USS Missouri. Like, it's bad.
Okay.
This shit's bad. And
Yeah.
this whole time you're playing as Snake, and there's a button prompt. You have to mash the triangle button to get
As
through
you're
this hallway. Because if you stop, Snake stops.
okay.
And it gets worse and worse and worse as the farther you go. Like, you have to do it faster and faster, like every couple of seconds.
Wow.
Snake gets to the point, literally his suit starts popping from all of the heat. Because he's wearing like his octo camo suit throughout the game, right?
Yeah.
And it starts exploding, like popping, and you can see like
Sizzling.
yes.
Mm.
His face is like not melting, but you see like burns start forming on his face, and he's on his knees crawling. He can't
Dude.
stand anymore. He's literally crawling through this hallway. And Otacon is screaming at him, like, Snake, you gotta keep going. Go on, Snake, you got this.
Yeah.
While everyone's fights are getting worse and worse. And you're seeing everyone, they're all starting to be overpowered by Liquid's forces.
Wow.
Raiden, he's like on the ground backing up. We see that like he fell over and the frogs are like cornering him with guns, and he's like scooting himself across the
I was gonna
ground.
say Raiden's biggest weakness is if he falls over.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
Bro
happened.
has no arms.
And he's like backing up from them. Like I said, Johnny and Meryl run out of ammo and all the frogs start rushing in, and they're like on them at this point.
Wow.
Metal Gear Ray is staring into the cockpit of the USS Missouri where Mei Ling and Otacon are, and we see his plasma rifle start from his mouth. It
Oh,
starts
it's like,
charging up.
oh man.
Yeah, we're in a bad situation.
If only Naomi Ex Machina shows up.
I will say there's no Naomi Ex Machina, which is
Okay.
why this is one of the highlights of the series.
Okay, okay.
Um, but yeah, Snake, like all of this is happening simultaneously, right? Like I can't say it at the same time,
Yep.
but like all of this is going on at the same time. Snake literally starts coughing up blood and puke at this point while he's crawling.
Whoa.
Like
So-
he is like on death's door.
Yeah, some serious radiation poisoning.
Yeah, absolutely. He is on the border of consciousness when he's able to get to the door, and he just barely is able to open it and make it through.
Okay.
And we see the server room of GW. It looks like a graveyard of little servers with one GW big server in the back.
Yeah, it literally looks like gravestones.
Yeah, it's a really cool visual.
Okay.
But Snake, he's struggling to stand as the Mark III strolls up to the GW system, and he like plugs in his cable, and the virus upload starts. And we see all of our heroes. We see like all the shots of them. Raiden's covered in blood. Meryl and Johnny run out of ammo, and they're holding each other as the frogs are on them, like literally like gunpoint.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Ray's like powering system is literally like about to fire.
Mm,
And Otacon is like cowering behind like a hallway, like a doorway. Like he goes on the other side and he like sits down with his computer in his lap,
yep.
and he's like,
Accepting fate.
yeah, pretty much everyone's about to die.
Yeah. Man.
And as this is happening, we see that Snake, he turns around and he sees hordes of dwarf geckos coming through the door that he just came through.
Through like the
The
microwave hallway?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
like
man.
robotics aren't really affected too badly.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
And literally like there's like
Kind of, I
probably
guess.
like 50 or 60 of them.
Whoa.
And they start piling in, and they start overpowering Snake, and they're on top of him, like grabbing him, and he like falls on the ground, and he can't defend himself.
So this virus needs to upload
Like
immediately.
like instantaneously.
Yeah.
Like everyone is literally on the verge of death when Otacon yells in victory, and we see all of Liquid's forces start powering down.
Yes.
The Metal Gear Ray shuts down. All of the dwarf geckos fall over.
Of course.
Well, I mean, they're all controlled by SOP, which is what.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this, obviously, I assumed this would happen.
Yeah. But it's
And
really
I'm glad
cool.
it did.
It's really cool.
I'm glad it did. They were saved
They were saved.
for now.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, I like the buildup of the scene for sure.
Yeah. They all start like shutting down, falling over, and Otacon, he realizes that the virus is not only wiping out GW, but it is in fact wiping out the entire system.
Yo, we got a surprise victory?
The virus is killing all four AIs and the
Nice.
core JD.
Dude, usually in these games it's a Otacon didn't realize, but actually we're even more screwed.
Yeah, but no, they're like actually way better.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, like literally all of the AIs are starting to die.
Where's Liquid? What is this man getting up to?
Well, as Otacon is yelling out in victory, Snake's vision starts going and he begins to seize. Like
Mm,
he starts having a seizure.
wow.
Otacon, the Mark III, rushes over to him and starts yelling for him, but then Snake passes out.
Mm,
When Snake comes to, he's on the very top of Outer Haven. Like where the mountain was when it was camouflaged? Like
yes.
that giant pillar right in the middle?
Yeah.
Snake is on top of that.
Okay.
And we see Liquid standing over top of him. Snake asks why Liquid pulled him here, and Liquid reveals that he's not even upset at all. He's like, the war's over, the Patriots are gone. It is what it is. I lost.
Oh. Yeah. So it's almost like I said, he didn't really care whether he won or lost, which is interesting. I still don't really get what his goal was. I mean, because he ended the Patriots, which was his original goal, right?
Yes.
Ending the Patriots,
Yep.
getting control of the SOP,
Yes.
and he did do all that.
Yeah.
And since then, he's just been in a silly, goofy mood.
Yeah. And he's like, I lost. The Patriots are gone.
Yeah, because I now you're right. He never said any other agenda after doing what he successfully did at the end of Act 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And now Liquid's like, I got one last score to settle.
Okay.
Me and you, Snake.
Ah,
And Liquid, he leans down and he pumps Snake full of like 3 syringes full of adrenaline.
yo.
So if you think, oh, Snake can barely fight, no, Snake, he starts his body, you can, because it's not like it immediately hits him. It's like Liquid starts attacking him, and then Snake, like, he's slowly like responding and getting faster and faster as like the cutscene goes on.
Yeah.
It's really cool because like you can see the adrenaline start hitting him.
Mm-hmm.
But they beat the shit out of each other. This is a
Nice.
cutscene.
Yeah, yeah.
They like, dude, it's absolutely brutal.
Okay.
Absolutely brutal. Like they're beating the ever loving fuck out of each other. And they fall on their knees. And 2 more syringes of adrenaline falls out of Liquid's pocket. And they're like sit like on their knees looking at each other. And they both grab a syringe and stick it in the other person's
Dude, I
neck.
was about to say, do they do it to each other?
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
they're
that
like,
is
this is it.
awesome.
They're like, we're ending this now.
That is awesome.
And Snake, he gets up and you can see the adrenaline coursing through him and like he's pissed off. Liquid! And then Liquid yells, Snake! And dude, here it is. Boss battle ensues, bro.
Yes.
Boss battle ensues, and it
The
is
boss battle.
legendary. This is the best boss fight in the whole series.
Whoa.
Yeah. Literally, it's hand to hand, like it was back in MGS1,
Mm-hmm.
on top of Outer Haven instead of Metal Gear Rex.
Yep.
Um, Liquid is shirtless, as always.
Of course.
But the cool thing is that literally the background music and their health bars change versus they change on based on what phase of the fight you're in.
Oh.
In the first phase of the fight, they have the health bars from MGS1 and it's playing the background music from MGS1.
Yeah.
And then when you drain the health bars refill and then it's the MGS2 health bars with MGS2's background music.
That's awesome.
Their names change based on it too.
Dude.
Like first phase, it says Solid Snake versus Liquid Snake. And then in the second phase, it says Solid Snake versus Liquid Ocelot. Yeah, and then in
Yo.
phase 3, it says Ocelot versus Naked Snake. And they change, and literally every phase it changes based on what game of that phase for the 4 games.
That's cool.
It's pretty insane, dude.
Yeah, they actually went super in depth. I like that a lot.
And it's like the whole game changes. The mechanics of the game are, it's like you're playing a fighting game.
Yeah.
It's no longer like Metal Gear combat. Like you get like a full range of motions.
And this has not ever been something like in any other fight.
No.
Wow.
And literally, when you do like your combos, because like in the games, you always have like a CQC combo. Snake, he does the CQC combos of that game.
Oh, and it switches every phase?
Yes, every phase.
Dude.
So like when the first game, he'll do like a two punch kick combo, which is what he does in MGS1
Mm-hmm.
versus MGS3 when he has like 2 hits kick, then another 3 hit.
That's cool.
It's like dude, it's so cool. And like the background music, you're on top of Outer Haven and you can see the entire ocean with the USS Missouri still firing back and forth.
Yeah.
Like it's just immensely legendary. Just epic to the highest degrees.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
Yeah. But eventually, Snake defeats Liquid.
Yeah.
Liquid is
Big
defeated.
moment here.
Yeah. And Snake kneels over his body. Liquid gives us a few final words. Kind of like, it's finally over, brother. And shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hear his voice say, "You're pretty good." As Ocelot fully regains control over the body.
Dude, I was wondering when my man's was coming back.
Liquid's control over Ocelot body goes away and
Wow.
Ocelot comes back.
So that was potentially the end of Liquid? Oh, wait. Hold on. Keep going, because obviously that means Ocelot's about to die.
Ocelot says, "You're pretty good," and then dies in Snake's arms.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Um, we hear a helicopter fly up, piloted by Otacon. He helps Snake on board and they fly away.
Dude, what a moment.
End of Act 5.
Wow. So is the AI system completely destroyed? But JD still needs to be destroyed, right?
No, the virus that they uploaded into GW,
It also got
it
JD?
literally got all 4 AIs and JD.
Okay,
It took out the entirety of the Patriots' control.
okay, because I remember you saying it took out all four. I couldn't remember if it was also JD.
And then it is explained in that cutscene that, like, you know how we were talking about, like, that might not be good because, like, it takes out, like, electricity and, like, all
Mm.
of the government systems. Some of those were saved, like the essential ones. Like, the virus was using, like, it purposely did not corrode those systems.
Wait, wasn't Liquid trying to also destroy JD?
Yeah. But Liquid was trying to destroy JD so he could use the other 4.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yes, but this destroyed all of them.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
Essentially,
sense.
the day is saved.
Yeah.
Everything is good now.
I was gonna say it seems that way,
Yeah.
but you're telling me there's more.
You ready for Act 6?
But wait, there's more.
There's a whole nother act,
I'm
dude.
ready.
And I'm lying to you. There's no Act 6.
You're a liar.
Yes.
What's going on
This
there?
is the epilogue.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's called Epilogue Naked Sin. So it's like an Act 6 fake out that I was doing to you.
Okay.
But yeah. I will say the Snake versus Liquid is the last time you play the game.
So the rest is a cutscene?
Everything I'm about to tell you is a cutscene.
Okay.
And this cutscene holds the Guinness World Book of Records for the longest cutscene in video gaming history.
How long is it?
At 72 minutes.
Whoa. You get to watch a movie?
It's literally a movie-length epilogue
That's crazy.
of a cutscene.
Okay.
So I am going to spew words at you. I'm
Okay.
going to throw everything at you. I'm serious. Stop me if you need me to, but I'm just gonna start
Speak.
spewing.
Give me this
You
epilogue.
ready? Everyone at home, you ready?
Yeah.
This is the biggest exposition dump we will have in the entire franchise.
Yes.
All right. We cut in to Meryl and Johnny's wedding day. Everyone is here except Snake. Meryl lets Campbell walk her down the aisle so it looks like they're finally ready to reconcile some of the beef between them.
Mm.
Mei Ling, like everyone is here. Mei Ling, Otacon, Sunny, everyone except Snake and Raiden. So everyone that's been present in this game is here except Snake and Raiden. But Mei Ling asks Otacon where Snake is. And Otacon says, "Who knows? The guy always keeps you waiting." As he turns around and sheds a tear.
Oh.
We cut to another scene at an undisclosed location. And we see Raiden lying in a hospital bed. He has had his body replaced and looks human again. So he's got like it's like a it's still a cybernetic body, but it's designed so it looks like a human body.
Okay.
So Raiden, he looks human again. He's laying in a hospital bed in an undisclosed location. And we see Rose. Rose walks in with a child. And Raiden doesn't acknowledge them. He like turns around and Rose tries to get his attention, but Raiden is ignoring her. He won't acknowledge her at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Rose then she's like pleading with him. She starts crying and she's like, "Please look at the boy." Raiden, he asks, he's like, "Is it Campbell's?" And Rose tells him, "No, it's not Campbell's. It's his. And his name is John." Rose then explains
What's his name? John.
Rose then explains that Campbell took her and John in after MGS2 to protect them from the Patriots. No one was allowed to know, not Raiden, not Meryl, not a single soul, but their marriage has been a ruse this entire time to keep them essentially in a safe house, so the Patriots could not find them. And since Raiden disappeared, he couldn't protect them anymore, so Campbell took it upon himself to take them in, essentially, and keep them at a safe house.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that's cool.
Rose says she was waiting for Raiden to finish his mission, and she was always planning on coming back to him.
Why did Campbell even let her why did Campbell even let all of them know that she was with him? Like that seems like it's not very
Well, Campbell didn't let us know. Meryl found out and told Snake, if you remember.
But in one of the calls we saw her walk back behind him.
Yeah, because she was at the safe house with Campbell.
Okay.
So
But
it's
I
like
guess I guess
Campbell
nobody knew
wasn't,
where Campbell was either.
yeah,
So,
Campbell wasn't really hiding it from anyone, and it was a ruse that he was married to her. It was basically keeping as much distance from Rose and John from Raiden as possible, because Raiden was under the eye of the Patriots.
I see.
Because he
Okay.
was directly in conflict with the Patriots.
Okay.
And he was essentially, Campbell was trying to keep them safe.
Yeah. I see.
So their marriage had been a ruse. They weren't married at all.
Okay. Well, that's a plus.
Yes. Raiden, he's in disbelief and he takes a moment and sits up. He tries to talk to the child, John, and John like kind of is scared of him. And Raiden like feels horrible because he's like my own son is like terrified of me.
Mm.
So Raiden, from this moment, he agrees. He looks at Rose and he says, "Let's try again for him." And they agree to be there for each other and for their son. They embrace in a family hug and fade to black.
Wow.
We then cut to a graveyard. No, not their graveyard.
Okay.
Not their
I
graveyard.
was like, no
We cut
way.
to a different graveyard.
Yeah.
And we see Snake. He walks up to the grave of Big Boss. And he lights up one more cigarette as he says, "War has changed. Our time has ended. Our war is over. And this is my final mission." As he kneels down at Big Boss's grave, he pulls a pistol out of his jacket pocket and he puts the barrel in his mouth.
Whoa.
The screen starts to zoom in on him and fade to black. We cut back to Otacon and Sunny still at Meryl's wedding, and they're staring out at the sun together. They have a little conversation, and Sunny asks when Snake is coming back, and Otacon turns around and starts crying. He says that Snake is sick and he needs to be alone right now. He's had a hard life and he finally needs to rest. Otacon continues crying as he grabs Sunny, hugs her, and they stare out over the water together. Roll credits.
Damn.
Roll credits.
Damn.
I'm not crying right now.
So
I'm definitely not crying right
Snake
now.
pulled a Naomi.
I mean, if you remember, what he was under the impression of is that the fox die in his body would mutate and he would become a walking biological weapon.
Yeah. And he had to make the hard
He
choice.
finished his mission in order to keep the planet safe from him.
No,
So
legitimately though, all jokes aside, that is a powerful ending for Snake. Like for Snake's storyline,
it is.
like the fact that he gave his life for every he gave it.
What?
I was talking and Damien turned the page and there's a whole other page left. What am I looking at?
Nothing. Continue on with what you were
As
saying.
I was saying.
Okay, guys. I actually did start crying.
Yeah, no, I can tell that this was a big moment for you when you play this, I'm sure.
I I'm
Or when
crying
you
right
when you
now.
watch this, I should
I'm
say.
crying right now just telling you about this scene.
Yeah.
This scene is genuinely hard to watch.
Yeah, no. And I'm saying, for him and his character and what he gave every single game to at the end where he's the one who pulls the trigger. But then again, we didn't see him pull the trigger, right?
We did not see him pull the trigger. The screen cut to black
Okay.
as
Okay. So, and I guess there's more?
well, the credits they start rolling and
Yeah.
they play out.
The theme song?
Yeah. Um we see the voice actors list and we see everyone who all they played. And when the credits are done, it kind of keeps scrolling down and we see the name of Big Boss. But Big Boss didn't have any credit. Like, why does he have credited voice lines? He didn't have any voice lines in this game.
Oh.
He didn't talk in this game at all. His body was unconscious inside of a plastic shell.
Yeah.
The screen begins to fade back in, and we hear, "It's been a long time, Snake," as we see Big Boss standing next to a man in a wheelchair in the graveyard that Snake is in.
Okay.
Big Boss is still alive, dude.
What? What?
This is your Big Boss is alive reveal, dude.
What? So the body that we thought was Big Boss that gave Liquid power over the entire SOP system was not Big Boss's body.
I mean, I will say that gets answered, and this is the cutscene.
All right.
I know I started crying, and Snake's not actually dead,
Okay.
but that scene is
That
actually
scene,
so powerful.
the pictures I was seeing were insane.
It is actually it is probably one of the most powerful scenes in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
It
The fact that he says war has changed. It's epic.
it is quite epic, but yeah, the credits roll, and at the very end of the credits, we see Big Boss's name,
Amazing.
and then it cuts back in, and we see Big
Dude,
Boss.
I got to hear what's going on.
You got to hear what's going on, dude. All right, I am going to just start spewing.
Spew. Spew all over.
Big Boss stands there, and Snake pulls out a gun, aims it at Big Boss, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" Big Boss, he walks towards Snake and he tells him that he's not here to fight. He tells him that all of the Patriots are gone and that he is the last remaining, and he soon will be dead as well. Snake asks how he saw them burn his body in Europe, and Big Boss explains that was actually the body of Solidus,
That's what I was
the
thinking.
perfect clone of Big Boss.
Damn. Okay. That makes sense.
Your theory at the time, since it was called Third Son,
Yeah.
you were like, it has to do with Solidus. It was. That was Solidus's body. It wasn't Big Boss's.
Yeah. Okay.
The real Big Boss has been in a form of sleep locked away by the Patriots. He has been in a stasis this entire time. But when the AIs were destroyed, he was like released from his state of eternal sleep. So he came here to find Snake. He tells Snake that Eva and Ocelot wanted two things. They wanted to destroy the Patriots and they wanted to bring Big Boss back. So they set their plan into motion. And when GW was corrupted back in MGS2, Ocelot learned the location of Zero. But in order to fool the AI systems to gain access to them, he used nanomachines and psychotherapy to transplant Liquid's personality onto his own. Liquid never possessed him from beyond the grave.
Okay. So it was Ocelot's choice.
Ocelot made that choice.
Okay. That makes more sense with the
way that Ocelot was like, it's fine that I'm like, it's fine that I lost.
Yeah, it also makes more sense, like, I guess, it wasn't just some random freakish
Yeah, no,
drafting
because
thing.
Ocelot essentially used hypnotherapy to convince himself that he was possessed by Ocelot.
By Liquid?
Or yeah, by Liquid, sorry.
So it wasn't actually Liquid?
No, Liquid, he like used it to transplant Liquid's personality into himself.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Big Boss walks over to the man in the wheelchair, and we learn that this man is in fact Zero, the founder of the Patriots. Big Boss laments that he wanted to bring the world that the boss saw into fruition, and Zero did too. And they both had their fallings out, and it was just It was two men struggling over an ideology that chose the end of the world, other than, the unity that they both actually wanted. Big Boss explains that towards the end of Zero's, like, 'cause Zero's still alive. He's not dead. He's in this wheelchair. And he's like, Zero's AIs, they took on a life of their own, and Zero lost control of them. And that was the downfall of Zero. He then pulls the plug on Zero's oxygen tank, and Zero's body starts convulsing and then flatlines. Snake asks what is Big Boss going to do now, and Big Boss says that he's already began to die. Snake asks what he's talking about, and Big Boss tells him that when Drebin infected Snake with the new strain of Foxdie back in Act 1, it was programmed to kill Eva, Ocelot, Zero, and Big Boss. They died because they came into contact with Snake, and now Big Boss will too. Do you remember when Eva died? Her injuries weren't bad enough to kill her, so it was a little weird that she just fell over dead.
Okay.
And although Ocelot and Snake had that big, huge final epic battle, Foxdie is eventually what killed him right at
Okay.
the end. He then grabs his chest and he starts falling over because of the Foxdie. He asks Snake to help him over to the grave of the boss because Big Boss's grave is right next to the boss's grave, and we learn that.
Mm.
He tells Snake that the new Foxdie he was injected with has caused the new Foxdie that he was injected with has caused the mutated Foxdie to regress. So essentially, the new Foxdie is causing the old Foxdie to be pushed back, making Snake safe from being a bioweapon for a time being. It's not going to work forever, but it is essentially holding the mutated Foxdie at bay.
The Foxdie that Drebin gave him?
Yes. So the Foxdie that Naomi told Snake that would turn him into a bioweapon is being held at bay by the Foxdie that Drebin injected him with at the beginning of this game.
And is Snake still doing his coughing fits?
Yes. I mean, not in this cutscene, but yes, he still would be.
So he's still in the same bad shape he was.
Yeah, he's not in good shape.
Yeah.
He's still, because the whole clone aging thing, there's no way around that.
Yeah.
He
So,
still has less than a year
but
to
the
live.
bioweapon thing is not
Yes,
immediately.
he won't die from the bioweapon, but his aging thing still, he has less than a year to live because of how old he's getting, how fast.
Got it.
He tells Snake that he never saw him as a son, but he respects him as a soldier and a man. And then he tells Snake that he should live his final days free of fighting and just living as he wishes. Snake still doesn't have very long left because of the progressed aging, but he tells Snake to make the best of his final days. Big Boss then salutes the boss's grave and falls over. He tries to light a cigar, but is so weak that he can't, so Snake lights the cigar for him. Big Boss takes a puff. He looks at Snake and he says, "This is good, isn't it?" And he closes his eyes and dies from Foxdie. The camera pulls out, and that's the end of the game.
Wow.
That's the end of the game, dude.
So Big Boss willingly came into contact with Snake so he could let him know that he had time to live.
No, he wanted to die.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He willingly
Yeah.
came into contact.
Yeah, I thought you were memeing on me. I thought you were like, why would he do that? But no.
No, I'm saying like he did that on purpose.
Yes, because he was like, I'm the last of the Patriots, so
Yeah.
I gotta go too.
And because he did that, he saved Snake from, preemptively ending his life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very Snake, it's still very bleak for him. He doesn't
It
have
is.
long because of the aging, but he doesn't have to go out in such a vulgar way.
So what was Big Boss saying was his agenda again? Like, so Big Boss wanted,
Well, if you
because I know he
remember,
wanted to follow the boss's
Will.
legacy. Will.
Yes, and so did Zero, and they had their disagreement,
Yeah.
and Zero's disagreement took on a life of its own.
And that
Essentially.
was the whole gene.
No, that was the AIs.
Yeah, the AIs, right.
They basically grew their own sentience
Yeah.
because they were so advanced, and Zero lost control of them, which is what led everything post MGS2.
Wow.
I will say, do you want to hear? We still got some time left, so do you want to hear what the alternate ending of this game is?
Yeah.
It's not in the game, but this is on record. This is what Kojima wanted the game to end as. But his staff literally said they would not work on the game if this is what he did.
Oh shit.
They
Okay.
were like, we're not letting you end the game like this.
So dude was getting death threats from consumers, and his staff was not letting him end his game how he wanted.
Well, I think this ending is proof that this game was made out of resentment because the original ending for MGS4 after Act 5 has Snake and Otacon being put on trial by the nations of the world as war criminals and executed.
War criminals
Yeah. They are war criminals.
for the nations of the world. Like those still exist?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I don't like it. It's not a good ending.
Yeah.
But
He wanted to
Kojima's
do he wanted
original,
he wanted to do like another MGS3 ending kind of
yeah,
with Big Boss.
yeah, and he wanted Snake and Otacon to be executed by the nations of the world as war criminals.
Wow.
But his staff was like, no, we're not working on that. We will not finish this game if that's what you're doing. So he changed the ending to this.
To be honest, yeah, that ending is a little. Look, I like endings that.
Are sad and depressing.
Yeah,
It's just,
I
this
like I
is,
like a good tragedy sometimes, but if the tragedy, I don't know, if
it
Snake and
has to
Anakin,
feel valid. It has to feel warranted. Snake,
because
Snake,
because if that happens, it means the status quo was never changed. It means all of these Metal Gear Solid games, the status quo that we started with remained the same when we ended. Then at that point, what story were we just told? Like, if they died at the end, but the status quo was changed, cool.
yeah, like if Snake actually went through and pulled the trigger.
Yeah. Or like, but the fact that the status quo of the governments and all of them having full control and all of this shit, and then at the end, the reason Snake and Icon die is because of the nations of the world came together, and you realize like, wait, the world is still fucked.
Yeah,
Like it's just like there's still lies. Like these characters never get to be known for what they actually did. Yeah, that would
yeah.
have sucked.
It would have been a bad ending. I wouldn't have liked it.
Yeah, but the fact that the ending is Snake,
It's essentially the closest thing that we can get to a happy ending to this story.
yeah,
Because I mean, the situation Snake is in, I mean, unfortunately, he is still going to die very soon. But we don't have to see it on camera. It's not a vulgar way, as in, putting the gun in his own mouth. It's like he could still live peacefully until his final days.
yeah.
So, assumedly, after that cutscene, he'll probably go back to Otacon and Sunny and live out the rest of his days in a peaceful life with those two.
You know what I was thinking that would be pretty peak
What?
is if the shot of Snake having the gun in his mouth and the credits start rolling, and right when the screen turns to black with the credits, you hear a gunshot, and as the credits roll, and then it fades back, and you see Big Boss holding the gun to the air.
You like that?
You see Big Boss holding the gun to
That's
the
what
air.
happens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't mention that because I didn't want to because, I thought maybe if I mentioned the
Are you
gunshot
sure
sound,
that's actually what
I'm
happens?
so serious. I'm not fucking with you. That is what happens.
Dude, what?
Yeah, no, I didn't want to say we hear a gunshot noise because I didn't want you to be like, oh, that's cheap.
No, that's sick.
Yeah, no, that is literally what happens. As the screen cuts to black, there's a gunshot noise, and then we see Otacon and Sunny having their conversation over the view of the ocean, and then the credits roll, and then when we see Big Boss's name, the screen comes back in, and we see Big Boss holding the Patriot that the boss gave him at the end of MGS3.
That's crazy that I just said that.
You literally said exactly what happens. I'm not fucking with you. I'm so genuinely serious
Because
right
I
now.
was actually surprised that they didn't do something like that. Because
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I didn't want you to be like, oh, well, that's cheap.
no,
So
the reason it's not cheap is because I feel like when you hear that gunshot, you're like, well, yeah, they didn't want to show us his head getting blown to bits,
yeah,
so we just hear the gunshot, and maybe it's ambiguous, but at the same time, we assume he's dead. But yeah, that's cool.
yeah, you called it word for word.
Wow, that's pretty
That's
cool.
pretty insane,
Yeah,
dude.
no, that makes it even better though, man.
What are your thoughts, dude?
Dude, I like me personally. That's my favorite game.
Yeah,
Me personally.
this is the most. This is the second most divisive game in the franchise.
Well, there are flaws, but it's
Like I said, Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I feel like we can bring the correlation back to Shadow Moses, where it's a time capsule that the flaw, like you see the flaws, but it's like it's still beautiful,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. I think so.
It had nostalgia in my opinion, it wasn't overdone. It had flaws, but the flaws were, to be honest,
Not that important.
yeah, like Naomi had a big role in the plot to an extent, but at the same time, they like Naomi's role in the plot could have easily been subbed with a lot of the different
I
characters.
also didn't
Should have been,
mention
to be honest.
I didn't mention that after they upload the virus to GW, right at the end of Act 5, Naomi, she comes on screen and like she recorded a final video and it's like a goodbye message or something. It's just kind of more of Naomi talking.
Yeah.
But I didn't mention it because I mean, it was like whatever.
I feel like this is my favorite game because this is my favorite Snake. This is my favorite Raiden, and this is my, well, it's my favorite Snake and Raiden.
Yeah.
Otacon, his
It
thing,
also is the first game other than MGS1 with a final ending.
yeah. Also, the ending was awesome, and I feel like I was gonna say my favorite Otacon, but Otacon has kind of been consistently Otacon,
Yeah.
where he's always got something that he does that we're like Otacon, but that's his character.
Yeah.
That's kind of his
I will
struggle.
say, after the Naomi thing, you see he looks for the rest of the game after she dies, he looks more somber and looks like he has more of like a will about him.
That's good.
So there's a little bit of character growth, but you can only really tell in like his dialogue and the way he talks. It's not really like he does anything that shows that.
Yeah, I feel like what I take away is like cons. I Naomi obviously, shit stain. Like
Two biggest flaws of the game, in my
yeah,
opinion.
because they turned a bit into something that was
It
just drawn out.
will genuinely never not baffle me why they thought adding Johnny Sasaki into the if they added him into the game as like a member of Rat Patrol, if he was just kind of the comic relief, that's fine. But the fact that they had him marry Meryl,
Yeah, I was and
that pisses me off beyond belief.
yeah, and number three, like they brought Meryl into the game and they just did not go anywhere with her until
Well, she definitely did play a role some areas because in Act 3, we would not have seen GOP like come into fruition at all without her showing up. So,
I yeah, I understand she played a role. I'm saying her character arc. Like
oh, she didn't really get one.
she didn't really get one. Like they brought her into the
She
game and her arc sucked. Like she had an arc, it sucked.
her arc, I guess like in my opinion, her arc is more so losing faith in the system. Like Snake doesn't have faith in the system. You know what I mean? Like at the beginning of the game, she starts off thinking that SOP is the best thing to ever exist, and then towards the end of the game, she's like, "I'm my own person." But it's the same arc that we've seen with Raiden and with Snake, and it's not done as well with those two.
I wish what they would have done was focus more on Meryl's relationship with Snake. And I don't
Yeah,
mean like by the end they love each other. I mean her kind of, I don't know, like her going through like just seeing Snake like this and like the whole game she's like
yeah.
coming to
There
terms.
are moments of it, but it doesn't stick around long enough that it has a lasting impression.
Like I almost wish Meryl was like not helping them the whole time. Like I wish she kind of was part of the system. Like
Yeah,
she maybe gave into that. And then like throughout the game, I don't know, like
she sees how much Snake is struggling, and it kind of wins her over.
yeah, something like that. I
Something
don't
like that.
know, but I
I
wish they
agree.
did something more.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like I said, like this game, I like this game a lot. There's a lot of people that hate it, but I like this game. I do think it has some of the biggest bad moments in the entire series, but like the ending, Snake versus Ocelot on top of Outer
Yeah.
Haven, Metal Gear Rex versus Metal Gear Ray, the entire microwave hallway sequence,
Yeah.
literally peaks of the entire franchise, dude.
Yeah.
Like peaks that still haven't been topped.
No, yeah, the characters in this, the best characters in this game make this game the best.
Yes.
That's my
It's
opinion.
definitely not my favorite game in the franchise, but it is.
Just story-wise. Like I just loved the
Mm,
arc of Snake and Raiden. It was amazing.
I'd put it right at two. Like I think I like this one as much as I like two. I put them at the same level.
Because I understand if I played the game, you know, I would have to deal with the downsides way
Yeah.
longer than just hearing about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it.
I'm not going to tell you my full ranking till we're done with Metal Gear because obviously I don't want you to know my full opinions on Peace Walker and 5 yet until we talk about them. But
Yeah, like you don't want my expectations skewed.
yes, I don't want you to have any different opinions because of me. Because honestly, the fact that this is your favorite Metal Gear so far is great to me. I'm glad we have a different opinion. I
Yeah.
don't want you to just have the same opinion as I do.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the purpose of these games too is you walk away being like, who actually were the good guys?
There's a very clear good versus evil in this game.
Yeah. But in my opinion though, there is, right? Face value.
Face value.
But at the same time, when you think about everybody's agenda, you're like, who, like, what are people actually fighting for here?
Yeah, and I mean, now that we know that Ocelot was actually never possessed by Liquid's ghost,
Mm-hmm.
you can realize that his entire goal was to destroy the Patriots and bring Big Boss back to life.
Yeah.
And he did. And after the Patriots were destroyed, he did it in a way that he made Solid Snake think that he was trying to take over the system, but in actuality, once Snake destroyed the system by infecting GW, his mission was done. So he fought Snake and ended it right there. And then he
Yeah.
died a fox die.
What was Drebin's whole purpose for infecting
Oh
Snake?
my god. Um I was hoping you wouldn't mention that. Drebin was working for the Patriots the whole time.
To kill them?
Yes.
Why? What does that mean?
It's really, really ambiguous. They do not give us enough that I can give you a clear answer, but I can tell you what my opinion is.
Okay.
Um, basically, the AI knew that it was going to be destroyed, and they didn't want Liquid to take over them. They would rather them be gone than be under the subjugation of Liquid. So the AI thought that Liquid really was trying to take over the AI, and they didn't want to be under Liquid's control. So basically,
So Drebin was working for the AI.
yes, because the AI are the Patriots at this point.
So the AI just wanted the human Patriots dead.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but the way that's again, that's my opinion.
Okay.
The way the game explains it is they're kind of just like, yeah, Drebin was sent in by the Patriots.
So it's a
So
throwaway.
it's kind of like you got to figure it out on your own. It's not awful. It's not awful. It really isn't awful, but it's not great, you know? And
It
like
could have been better.
if I included that in that final climactic scene, because we learned that in that last cutscene, the epilogue.
Yeah.
If I included it in there, I feel like it would have just drawn away from all of the actual good stuff. So I kind of just didn't mention it and was hoping you'd forget about it. And then
It was the first thing that I was like had a question about.
yes, but Drebin was working for the Patriots the entire time.
Got it. The reason it's not honestly, the reason it's
Him and
not
Otacon, he explains that to Otacon at Meryl's wedding.
okay. Because I was gonna say the reason it's not great is because what he did actually played an insanely big role.
Yes, no, I mean
So
it.
the reason we don't so the fact that we don't get a clear cut plot explanation is a little annoying.
Yes, it's a lot of Metal Gear mumbo jumbo that Drebin says.
Yeah, and Drebin's character was just kind of another piece of the puzzle that was just
Drebin,
eh.
his character is such a weird one because I really like Drebin and I really hate him.
Yeah.
I like him because I think he's fun. I think he's a fun character to have. Also, the last episode I said slinky. I meant slimy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he's a real slimy character. He's very like a business salesman type character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what
So
you
I
mean.
think that caricature in the Metal Gear format, I think it's really fun. It's a really fun thing. But like Drebin, he really is just a pawn. So like there's nothing more to his character other than him being a pawn,
Yeah.
which is why I don't love him.
Yeah.
But he's fun to have on screen. And also the way he talks kind of annoys me sometimes. It's
Mhm.
like it works well when he's like face to face with Snake and he's being slimy on purpose. But like in the B&B cutscenes when he's explaining their backstories, it's like he's talking and it's like, dude, just shut up.
Yeah.
That's also another thing of Drebin knew pretty much everything in the entire game. Anytime the Snake needed exposition, Drebin was there to give it to him.
So
It's
it was like
because Drebin knew. Because he was,
slight hints.
yes,
Man, so these games were just a bunch of people who wanted to change the world, and they all did.
they did, but not in the ways they wanted to.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm going to tell you, Justin, since we're not covering Metal Gear Rising,
Hmm.
that is the end of the timeline
Man, dude.
because I've already told you that Peace Walker and 5 are Big Boss centric games.
Yeah.
And that is the end of Big Boss. That is his final death. I will tell you that. It's the end of the timeline. Nothing more to it. That is Big Boss's final death.
Wow.
So we're there. The next two games are prequels. We'll be
Learning more about Big Boss.
exploring more of Big Boss's descent into villainy.
You know what? I'm happy with this ending because my favorite characters, Snake and Raiden.
How do you feel about Raiden going back to Rose? I think the fact that there is an actual physical child in front of Raiden is a good reason for
That's
Raiden to try to give it another
yeah,
chance.
that's what I was getting to. Is that Raiden's ending? I actually do like. I wish they did more with Rose's character for us to see, kind of. But
Yeah,
but the fact that her and him were apart for so long, it kind of puts it because we don't know much about Rose and their relationship, but Raiden and her in that relationship also kind of they had such a big break where like he also doesn't even really have a relationship with her anymore. And so he's in the position now where he was just handed a reason to live, right? He was handed a reason to not become Snake.
yeah, and
And so
that's
even though it's something that he necessarily didn't purposely, you know, didn't purposely I
pursue.
guess pursue, but the fact that he was handed this and had to make a decision, I like I like that the game kind of threw that at him and he made the decision to not continue as Snake,
Yes.
as Snake would have chosen.
I will say, Metal Gear Rising, maybe we'll cover it eventually in the future, like as like a bonus episode or something later on, but it is completely Raiden based. Raiden is the main character, Snake does not exist.
That's cool.
It is Raiden's adventures after this.
Okay.
It is non-canon, so it's really only if you like it, you can keep it canonized in your head.
So they do, yeah. The fact, wait, so they make him go on more missions?
I I like the game because it's a fun game and it's really cheesy and it's awesome and it's really cool. However, for Raiden's character, it's not a good ending.
Yeah.
This is the good Raiden ending.
Okay.
So that's why I'm kind of like, you know what, maybe we won't cover it. Maybe we will as a bonus episode in the future.
I like to think my headcanon is after this game, Raiden lives a life raising his son, and then like 30 years down the line, something happens and he has to get like brought back into the
Pulled out of
action, pulled
retirement.
out of retirement. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like something fun like that when his kid's already grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but either way, I like his ending.
But yeah, I mean, other than the possibility of Metal Gear Rising, this is the end of the timeline. The next time we talk about
Yeah.
Metal Gear, we'll be going back to Big Boss. So, Solid Snake is growing old until he dies. And this, I mean, I actually very much like that we don't see him die. I think
Me too.
I think it's tasteful that we get to know he lived his final days in peace.
Me
And
too.
I also like that we don't get shown his final days.
Yeah.
I like that it's just like Snake is given the opportunity to live his final days in peace, and that's what we know.
Yeah.
Like, because then my brain gets to go, okay, Snake has a happy ending instead of whatever they show us and me feeling depressed,
Yep.
you know?
No, I
And
like it.
also, Otacon has a daughter, Sunny. So, like, Otacon has Sunny.
Well, that's true. I forgot it was his daughter.
Well, it's not his physical daughter,
I
it's
know, but it's like
adopted daughter.
who he's raising. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
Otacon is raising Sunny. So it's
Oh, I
like
like that. Yeah, yeah. I forgot.
Otacon gets Sunny. Snake gets to live his final days in peace. Raiden is starting a new life with his family. Rose, or not Rose, Meryl and Campbell, they're ready to reunite their relationship and try to give it another shot.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, Shitstain and Meryl are married, but
Yeah. Well, I
Naomi's
mean,
dead.
yeah.
So literally, this is the closest thing we can get to a happy ending for these characters.
Oh, Naomi's dead is part of the happy ending.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I fucking hate her.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate her. I hate her so much.
Dude, thanks for taking me through this.
Yeah, dude.
I know we got more, but this is a monumental end.
This is really, it is the end.
Yeah.
So it
And I've
is.
enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it so far.
I'm curious to see what you're going to think when we cover Peace Walker and 5, since, I mean, essentially it's supplementary material because you know the story.
Yeah.
So it like those two games are more of a character dive. They're
Well, I
not
still have more
really.
questions about Big Boss, so I'm sure they get answered.
Well, that's good because those games are the ones to answer the questions.
Yeah.
Um so like I will say 5 is probably the most divisive game in the franchise.
Hmm.
So we'll see what you think when we get there.
More divisive than this game?
Yes.
I guess this game's not divisive. It probably everybody thinks the same thing. They like the good parts and they hate the bad parts.
There's some people that think this game is a masterpiece. There's some people that think it's utter dog shit, and there's some people like us. So this game is divisive.
Yeah.
It is definitely the
Okay.
second most divisive.
Well, then, yeah, I'm very excited for 5 then.
I'm not gonna give you too much of my opinion on 5. I'll just say, you know what? Actually, I won't say.
Good.
I'll wait till we get there.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But for now, that's it, dude.
Yeah.
And next week, we will not be covering Peace Walker. We'll be starting
We'll be starting Mistborn.
the Mistborn
The
trilogy.
Mistborn trilogy. And I will be in the exposition seat.
Dude, that's gonna be a monumental moment for this podcast.
Yeah, dude. Video games to books.
I'm actually so excited because this is episode 6. We've been doing this for 6 weeks of me sitting here yapping at you. I'm excited to get yapped at.
Dude, I'm excited to yap at you.
And, you know, I'm curious to see I just want to see you tell me a story.
Yeah, and I've been wanting, because the reason we started this podcast is you have a lot of knowledge about video games that you wanted me to be able to know, and I have a lot of knowledge about books that I wanted you to know, and we get to force each other.
Yes.
And next week I'm forcing you.
You put a gun down my pants and threaten my
I'll put my
hearts.
hand down your pants and a
Oh.
gun to your. I don't even need a gun, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean with the hand alone, you can get me to do some vile things.
I'll fist you everywhere.
All right,
Whoa,
that's
okay.
nice to hear.
Now
Actually,
we're gonna end.
now we're gonna end. Okay, well, before we end, obviously, next week, Mistborn.
Yeah.
What?
Next
Where?
Friday.
Where can they listen to that?
You can listen to us on YouTube and Spotify.
YouTube and Spotify.
PigPen Podcast.
PigPen Podcast.
Yep.
Nice. And like you said, every Friday. So next Friday, Mistborn.
Meet us here on Friday
Yeah, be here or be square.
because we'll be here no matter what.
Yeah. And I will probably have a hand somewhere in my pants, according to Justin.
And it will be clenched.
Wonderful. But with that being said, everyone at home, I hope you have a great, wonderful day and night or evening.
Yeah, even if you're not at home. Because no matter where you're at, the sun's shining somewhere.
Well, I
even
don't
though it's
like
not
the
real.
sun.
Even though it's not real. It is shining somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I like the moon, dude. I'm a night guy. I'm a night guy.
Even the moon needs the sun to shine.
You're getting too philosophical on me, brother.
Bye, guys.
Oink oink, everybody.
It's been fun.
See you next week.
Dude, just end it.